I think the break was very good for Rob. Rob gave football everything he had. He fought through a lot of injuries. He's had about a dozen surgeries in his career. He's been an absolute warrior. He's fought through a lot of pain. He plays a very physical position. He gets hit hard all the time. He really needed a break physically and mentally. He fought hard. The year they won the Super Bowl, he played injured pretty much the entire season. He was never truly himself. He's a team player. This time off really reinvigorated him physically. He tells me he feels fantastic, the best he's ever felt.
That would be Drew Rosenhaus talking about Rob Gronkowski, who was traded yesterday to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a 4th-round pick. And, gentlemen, I am skeptical. I am not like one of these people that I've seen a lot of reactionary comments to this saying, well, how are they going to be stopped now, that offense? A 31-year-old tight end who has had a history of injuries, 2 back surgeries, and coming off a year of retirement, color me skeptical to the idea that he's going to have a 10-plus touchdown season next year. You know what I mean?
Quit raining on everyone's parades here,
Okay.
bro. Come on, this is wonderful. This is awesome. This is Gronk just giving the old Ed Belichick and the Patriots. He wanted out of New England. He didn't want to work for Hood anymore. This had more to do with that than it had to do with his injury situation. He did not want to work for Hoodie. End of the line.
I think there's something to that, but at the same time, like, you remember the video, like, we played the audio on this show when he was, he's partnered with a CBD company, and he was in tears crying about how much he was in pain during his NFL career.
That's the pain caused by Hoodie. The pain caused by Hoodie. The tears were caused by Hoodie.
So the CBD was all about Bill Belichick and the pain that he caused.
Well, look how excited, Moj, look how excited he is to play football again. Let me ask you this. Would he have returned to New England? If Tom Brady had stayed put, do you think he would have returned to New England, Mark?
Me? No. I don't like to wake up in the morning and have somebody go, it's never going to work. I could give you 1,000 reasons why they're not the same as they used to be. He's beaten up. He's the dude. Do you understand? We have so little to grab onto. We have so little to grasp. First of all, you're wrong. Okay, you and your beard are wrong.
Okay.
But we have such little else to just touch with our sports hands. And I'm trying to touch things, Brett. I'm trying to touch things. And the good Lord Gronk comes down and says, I'm going to give you something that you can touch and you can taste and you can feel and you can roll around in and smother yourself in. And you're like, I want
to make one thing clear. I love that he's doing this.
No, you
I
don't.
think it's going to be a blast to watch Tampa Bay. I just don't think it's going to work the way that a lot of people feel like it's going to work.
They're not a championship team, but that offense is dangerous. You have to admit
let's be serious. Let's be serious. I mean, again, I don't know what they're going to do at the tight end spot. I don't know what they're going to do with O.J. Howard. They've been trying to kind of move him up to this point. Maybe they'll keep him, but think about it. I mean, Evans and Godwin and Gronk and Brady obviously running the show and O.J. Howard, those are talented guys, Brett. Those are talented guys. And say what you will about Gronk. I will say to you what I've said many times. When Timo Solani played for the Avalanche, he was 2 years older than Gronk is right now when he signed. But his knee was so bad that year, so bad. And then the next year was the lockout. He came back at the age of 35 after the lockout and played very well and played more years. I mean, he was the year off did his body wonders. He would have retired if it wasn't for the lockout season. So my point is never underestimate for a big fella like the Gronkster to get your body healed up, to get your head cleared out, to goof around and play wrestling and all that kind of stuff. This may be something that sets him on a path that turns him into old Gronk again.
Here's the better question, guys. Why did Bill Belichick settle for a 4th-round pick when he could have gotten more? He offered a deal. You may remember this. Remember the Lions deal 2 years ago? He offered to send Gronk to Detroit when Patricia first started there for a 1st-round pick. That was a first-round selection in exchange for Gronk, but then at that point, Gronk threatened to retire, and that deal was off. So why all of a sudden, after a year's worth of rest, is Gronk only worth a fourth-rounder? That is a steal for Tampa Bay, an outright fleecing, in my opinion.
See, but that's where I guess I disagree, because is that a steal? I get 2 years ago when Gronk's on top of the world catching 12 touchdowns a year, he's worth a first-round pick. And it's also hilarious that in the long string of players who would rather retire than play for the Lions, just add Gronk's name to that list. But he's a year coming off retirement. And is that really worth more than a fourth rounder for something you don't even know is going to work?
Yeah, let me make it easy for you. If I gave you the choice today, Noah Fant or Gronkowski on this offense right now, who do you take?
Rob Gronkowski by a mile.
Who do you take, Brett? Brett, who do you take on this offense right now?
Noah Fant trading or these guys straight up?
Straight up right now, this season. Let's go.
Fant? You kidding me?
Okay.
You just invested a first-round pick and a tight end at number 20 overall, and you would rather have somebody who's 31 coming off retirement, injury history, who is no guarantee that he's going to be the same?
I think he's talking about
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he's talking about this season.
Just
who
one
can be
season.
more productive.
Yeah, I'm talking about one season. Not obviously one's older. I'm talking about one season. You have the production of one of those players for one season. Who is it?
Okay, well, I'm still taking Fant. In 2018, the year before Gronk retired, he had 47 catches and 3 touchdowns. Fant did that last year.
Okay, that's fair. That's your call. This is a year removed, a year to rest, a year to ward off injury, a year.
We said that about
fresher.
Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch was not the same.
Yeah,
Marshawn
dude.
Lynch took a year off, he came back, he was garbage.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just think that you're underestimating. Listen, Tom Brady's going to be what, 43 years old? I mean, is that
43?
Jesus, Lord Almighty. But he's still listen. Bruce Arians, they think he can still play, which is why they signed him to a 2-year deal. Say what you will about these guys not being what they were, let's say in 2012. But I'm telling you, man, Gronk, a healthy Gronk is going to scare people. He's still impossible to cover for linebackers. He's still impossible to cover for DBs. Neither one can do that. He's still a great blocker in the run game. Brett, I'm just telling you, I think you're underestimating what his impact can be.
And Moj, he's not going to have to play as much as he did in New England. He is surrounded by better talent. This is the best group of receivers, tight ends included, that Tom Brady's ever had. This is his greatest receiving collection he has ever had to work with. And Gronk is going to be surrounded by more offensive weapons. Thus, he's not going to be leaned on the way he was in New England. He's not going to have the mileage he had in New England. He's going to pick and choose. I think it's a no-brainer. It's a wonderful move for the Bucs. And I think Belichick should, why did New England why did they acquiesce for a fourth rounder?
I tell you why. I know.
If I'm Belichick, I would have said no.
Okay.
Where else is he going to go?
But here's the thing. Gronkowski, in the history of his career with the New England Patriots, you mentioned it earlier, Gronkowski has always held a little bit of a hammer over the Patriots. He's always been unafraid. He and Rosenhaus have been unafraid to sort of hoodie the hoodie. You know what I mean? Like kind of they get what they want. They wait. They do this. I may retire. Da-da-da. I think the writing was on the wall. I think Hoodie just wants to be washed of Rob Gronkowski and all the situation. Yeah, we'll send him to you for we'll give you Gronk in his 7th for a 4th. They think that they recognize what the situation was, and they couldn't fit him under their cap if they wanted to. If he wanted to come back and play for the Patriots, and he's unretiring, they can't fit him. I mean, they don't have the dough right now.
They still don't have to make the move for a 4th round pick. They could have said, nope.
Yeah,
we'll do a 2nd.
They could.
See, I think you're looking at this the wrong way. Like, you got a 4th round pick for a player you didn't even have. Like, you just got an extra pick for nothing. He wasn't going to play for you anyway.
Great. I admire that. I admire that they're collecting all these picks. That's wonderful. But they could have held out because Gronk wanted to play. He wants to play badly. And Brady badly wants Gronk. That's a marriage they both wanted badly. And they settled for a 4th round pick. I just think they could have gotten more.
Let me ask you this: for the last tight end that came out of retirement,
can you say that can you say that in a Burton Ole voice, please? Can you just think of, because he says that a lot too? Could you please
Says what?
Let me ask you this. Could you do that in a Bert and Ole voice? I'm begging you.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question.
No. That's good. But let me ask you this. Do it that way.
Okay, let me ask you this. Jason Witten was the last guy at that position to come out of retirement and come back.
Love
you
it.
know what his numbers were last year?
Yeah, I know what his
catches,
numbers were.
530 yards, 4 touchdowns. Do you think that Gronk does better than that?
Yeah, I bet he does.
That's a decent year.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Better than Jason Witten all around? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He is. And Witten's a Hall of Famer too.
I really don't know how much better he gets.
Dude, Gronk, in my opinion, Gronk is the most talented all-around tight end in the history of the game. In the history of the game. He's better than Shannon Sharp all around. Not even close.
This is what people don't understand about what I'm saying. I don't deny that. I think people get caught up too much into what these guys, Brady included, were as opposed to who they now are. Okay.
Perhaps some do, Brett. Perhaps some do. But I try to look at exactly what they are as human beings and football players at this moment. I don't have any grandiose expectations of Brady with 4,500 yards and 30 TDs and Gronk, catching 10 of those per year. None of this is going through my head.
No,
what I'm telling you is that
there's
a chemistry that you simply cannot find, and there is a talent level that's still there enough it's going to concern defensive coordinators. I'll tell you what, Vic Fangio, when they come to town, will be concerned.
Okay, we'll continue this after the break. If you guys
as we get to break,
3-3.
For you, this is specifically for you, Brett. Another player you said doesn't want to play for the Lions. So you're telling me if the Lions had the overall number 2 pick, and they say Chase Young, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna retire. Yeah, I've had a good career of 20 seconds.
No.
I'm gonna retire from the league.
These guys some time.
I'm not gonna play for the
resume. Once they've built that up, then they say no to the Lions. They say I'm never doing this again. And if you force me to play and you don't trade me, then I will literally sit out for the rest of my life.
Dude, I was thinking about this. I'll tell you what, we'll do it whenever you want to do it. But I was thinking about this last night, swear to God, in my kitchen while I was making some food, about the Lions, but about teams that are perennial bottom dwellers and why that is. Yeah.
Has any team in the history of pro sports forced more people into retirement than the Detroit Lions?
No, it's not even close. I mean, Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders retired at 30.
They're like, we're out.
43.
We're out. Done. Go.
Back after this.
Debt can quickly build up, and the high interest rates tied to some of those credit cards or personal loans can cost you a lot of bread. But it doesn't have to be that way. Everybody, it's Mark Moser here. If you're a homeowner, you can refinance any high interest debt into your mortgage at a much lower rate, and that creates up to $1,000 a month in monthly savings, and maybe even more. And all it takes is a 10-minute phone call to my friends at American Financing to get started, just like I did. You'll work with a dedicated mortgage consultant, someone who will customize a loan program to achieve your financial goals. No pressure, no upfront or hidden fees. And you don't have to start your loan term over. Instead, you can choose any term you need, which can mean tens of thousands of bucks saved in the long run. Heck, you may even be able to postpone a couple of months' payments. So give them a call today at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or you go online and do it now at AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate.
I am fascinated the way that people sort of view moves like this for the Buccaneers. And for somebody who's aging, and I think I can say this without exception, there's numbers, there's data, it passes the eye test, it passes everything. Tom Brady at this point last year, it was one of his worst seasons of his 20-year career, and he looked like an average quarterback in the league. Now, when trying to evaluate what kind of team the Buccaneers are going to be, everything is the same with the exception of Tom Brady being there along with now Gronk. How much does that elevate them? And I don't think, like Vic, you mentioned this last week, Brandon Marshall went on ESPN saying that, he thinks that New Orleans is done and Tampa Bay is going to win that division now. I just don't buy that. Like, I don't think that Tom Brady and Gronk being on that roster makes them on the plane of a Niners or Chiefs or Ravens or Saints or Packers or Seahawks or whoever the top teams in the league were last year. They're probably a playoff team. They'll make a wild card spot, but I'm not sold on it. I'm not.
Okay. Great. And is there more hype? Is there more love? Is there more appeal? Is there more popularity? Are people going to watch? Are people into it? Yeah. I don't care
how
what
many
thinks.
How many Gronk?
Well, that's not very nice.
How about this?
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's fine. You could think that. I mean,
how many Gronk creamsicle jerseys will be sold?
A ton.
100,000? How many Gronk jerseys will be sold overall across the globe? 100,000?
Did they get better? Did they get better from a year ago?
At $100 a pop? That's a lot. Dude, that's a lot of bread, bro.
They're better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we arguing here?
My argument is when people talk about this team being some sort of Super Bowl contender now, I think it's silly because I think all they're doing is they're playing on the nostalgia of what these players used to be as opposed to what they are right now.
But Brett, I was thinking about
that Tom Brady over Jameis Winston makes the Buccaneers a 13-3 team that's going to compete for a Super Bowl. I don't. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm super interested. But as far as actual substance, it feels a lot like Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce getting traded to the Nets.
Great. You sound like, so you would be shocked if Tampa Bay advanced to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Shocked.
Yes.
That's the word. So you'll eat another sock is what you're saying. Like I'm going to sit here and go, oh God, Brett Kane doesn't think they're Super Bowl material. Now what do we do? Dude, they did everything they could.
I'm giving you a sports opinion. What do you think the show is?
I know. I understand that, Brett. I understand. But the point of the matter is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers improved their team. If every one of those moves occurred here in Denver, Colorado, every one of those moves, you'd be singing a different tune. And you know it. You know it deep in your heart. If every move that the Bucs did happened here, you'd be like, yes, here we go.
If the Broncos only changes to the team where Tom Brady and Gronk coming here, they aren't beating the Chiefs still. I would
but I'm talking about I'm talking about a collection of changes. I'm talking about in the demeanor of a team. You weren't here during the Peyton era. You weren't here. You didn't see it like we saw it. When you bring in a Hall of Famer, you don't change personnel. You don't bring in talent. That's just half the battle. Moj, tell them what you bring in when you bring in a Hall of Famer. What do you bring into your franchise that you can't shop for anywhere else? What is it?
You bring in credibility. You bring in jam. You bring culture. In what too. Yeah, you bring in all of the above. And that's why you have guys who want to come and be a part of your team. Yeah. And by the way, Kane, a couple things. I was thinking about this too, boys. I'm going to argue to you that for any specific team, and this is why the Denver Broncos want to put themselves in a position just to make the postseason, because the Super Bowl of all the major championships is the easiest to win.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not
if you make the playoffs, the Super Bowl is the easiest to win.
I would agree. Yeah, because there's no series.
All you got to there's no series. All you got to do is win a couple of games and you're good.
True, then why are the same teams in it every year? I mean,
okay, but hang on.
Super Bowl has been like Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger.
What I'm saying, if teams get in, like that's why the New York Giants at 9-7 can get in. If the New York Giants had to play those teams 3 times, they would lose 2 out of 3, right? I mean, if they had to play in a series are there to let the better team, let the law of averages work out, okay? But if you're in the postseason in the NFL, man, and let's say you get a first round bye or you get home field advantage, you got to win a couple 3 games and then you're in, baby. I mean, it's different, Brett. So what I'm telling you is that if they're this much better to get themselves into the postseason, they have a shot. No team has ever played in a Super Bowl on their home field, and the Buccaneers have an opportunity to do that this year. Also, go ahead. Sorry, there's something else. There's something else I want to say. There's something else I want to say off topic. I forget what it was.
And also,
much better.
I'm going to stop. Here's the other thing. When Vic says, and I wasn't here for Peyton Manning, and I acknowledge that and I understand, but the difference between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady is Peyton was capable of having a 55 touchdown season still when he came to Denver. Like he was still
You say that in hindsight.
But
when
you
he
didn't
first
know
got
it?
here, Brett, you weren't here.
He couldn't throw.
First signed Peyton
we were wondering if he could throw the football. Could he grip the foot? Could he grip the football correctly? Is what we wondered.
There were critics who were killing Elway for quitting on Tebow, killing him. All right, killing him for saying, "What are you doing?"
Well, they were dumb for Tebow sucked.
No, but
at the time, it was
Peyton
different.
Manning's you're looking at everything's in the rearview mirror, and that's easy to do. We can all do that. I'm talking
this
about
guy hasn't played forever.
He didn't. He came in here without having played for 2 years, without being able to move. His neck was broken 4 times over. And people didn't know what they had. In fact, the first 4 games of the season, hell, up until the first half of the Chargers game, people were going, this ain't going to work. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. The second half of that game in San Diego, where the Broncos mounted that ridiculous rally. They were down 24-0. Came back and won that game. That was the game. That was the moment. Before that, Brett, I'm telling you right now, and anybody who says different is lying. People had doubts, serious doubts about whether Peyton Manning could still play.
I know that they had doubts. I understand that, but those doubts weren't tied to can he still play from a talent perspective. It was, can he stay healthy? And those are legitimate concerns, and I understand that. Tom Brady going to Tampa, my concerns aren't can he stay healthy. I think he'll play all 16 games this year because he usually does. I'm just saying I think that his play, this is more reminiscent to me of Peyton Manning's last year here, the year that he went from 39 TDs to 9 touchdowns and 17 picks. I feel like he's not going to be that bad, but he's on that trajectory of going down just from his play.
To back you up, you could very well be right, Brett. And I can see your logic working. I can see your ample brain processing and then spitting that out. I understand that. What I'm telling you is that when you look at his offensive weaponry in New England the past couple of years, especially last season, junk. It just, put it this way. You put that old Ferrari, in a new lot surrounded by a bunch of new Ferraris, man. All of a sudden he's looking pretty good. Paint's a little bit shinier. Engine revs a little better. I'm just saying he doesn't even have to be Tom Brady of 2010. He can be Tom Brady of right now, dude. Or heck, or Tom Brady of 2006 for crying out loud, because he's got weapons around him.
He had so little to work with.
And Bruce Arians they're going to baby him, and they are going to take care of him, and they are going to give that kid, listen to me, that dude every opportunity to succeed.
This is my last point. Last year in New England, okay, you keep ripping on Brady's production, and rightfully so. He wasn't that great. Compare the talent he had on the offensive side of the football to the talent he possesses in Tampa, and tell me if that is not a huge upgrade.
It's certainly better. I mean, it's without a doubt, it is.
Okay,
incredibly.
Do most quarterbacks produce more when they have more talent around them? Is that pretty much how it works? Okay, well, then what is the problem here? What are we doing?
There's not a problem. What I'm saying is Peyton Manning that last year had Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders and C.J. Anderson. Like, he had talent on that offense. He just couldn't do what he used to be able to do anymore.
He couldn't move. His foot was half broken.
Is that it? That equates to talent? He's less talented because his body is broken down. Fair enough. However, you get to where your peak level of play, whether you're broken down or you're old, that's where you are, and that's where Manning was.
Again, we got a whole bunch of people on Twitch that are chiming in as well. You can watch the show live.
Twitter, we got some Twitchers?
Facebook,
okay.
Twitch. Yes, Twitchers.
All right.
All of that, just search Altitude SR is where you can find it. You can also go altitudesportsradio.com and hit the link on the homepage there if you want to watch live. We're back in 3 minutes. It's been a while since we heard from Michael Malone, as still waiting for some sort of news about the NHL or the NBA getting back going, but he took some time to talk to some media members during a Zoom press conference yesterday, starting with getting the players prepared for a possible restart. Just listen to his response of what he's been doing, because it's almost like going back to school a little bit. They've been out of the game for so long. Listen to Malone.
Sending film to guys, watching film with guys. I was on a Zoom call with Jordy Fernandez, one of our assistant coaches, and around 4 of our players last Friday. And we were going through film, and it was a really neat film session because we were showing offensive clips, and we wanted to see how many of our guys, after a month off, still remember our play calls. Okay, hey, what play is this? Are they staying sharp? Because if you just come back in a month and say, okay, here's our ramp up, and you're not training your mind and remembering this is who we are, this is what we do, and this is when we're at our best, that's going to take that ramp up and make it that much longer of a process. So film sessions like that, I think, are really impactful. And this Zoom app that we're using now has been incredibly helpful in connecting with players and talking with them, but also finding ways to challenge them to continue thinking about the game, and not only how they can be better and how they see the game, but how we can collectively as a team.
They're doing Zoom chats, and he's asking questions of, do you remember this play?
Dude, I don't blame them. I don't blame them, though. I don't remember their damn record. I mean, it's unless you're in it, it's hard to think through any sport, right? Mentally sit there at home on the couch going, okay, here's how this play works. It's great. You might have an idea, but don't you have to live it? Don't you have to do it? Sure. It's like sitting at home. Here's how I'm going to swing the club today. I'm going to bring it outside and then back inside. You got to do it, man. You got to do it to feel it, to understand it, to remember it.
I was thinking too, if he's asking me, Mo, Coach, I don't know. Is that 3? Man, I don't know, man. Anyway, I got these chip steaks on the stove. I'm gonna go get. I got to go rub a pig. Come on, man. You got to be. Vic's right. You've got to be in it. You've got to keep it going. Which is why even like guitar players and whatnot, man, all these great guys. They still practice all the time. They still do their thing. You gotta stay with it, man.
Yeah, mental reps are great. But mental reps after 42 days, good luck with that, right? It's going to take time. I guess the play call I would always use by default is, okay, here's the play call. Give it to 15.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the play where you give it to Jokic and you get out of his way? Remember that play?
Do you remember that play where 15 has the ball and he does stuff?
Well, but here's the thing.
It's my favorite play.
That's basically it. Give the ball to the Joker, right? Give it to Jokic. And then you guys move around and somebody get open. A, he's either going to make a bucket, or B, he's going to find you for an easy bucket. You decide. Let's go. Ready? Break.
Yeah. Remember that play where Will stops dribbling and gives it to 15? That play.
You remember that play where the old 15 would just dribble into the court, pound the ball into the court for 20 seconds on the wing, and then hoist up a 3? Remember that?
I like that play.
Coach, it's MPJ here. I was just playing video games, and I realized there's a cool play that they have in the game where I'm on the floor too, and I shoot it.
Well, we didn't go over that play.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, I was just throwing it out there. If you wanted that play, just keep it in mind.
Is it possible to reach through a Zoom and strangle someone? Is that possible? I mean, is it physically possible somehow to reach hands through and have them Darth Vader that thing? Because Malone would be Darth Vadering through the Zoom.
He would have benched him on the Zoom call.
Marty, do we have Coach Malone's thoughts on returning to play in front of fans and when that's going to be normalized? I thought it was very interesting what he said there, the response. All right, go ahead, Marty, play it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable at all. That's why, the question of would I prefer having fans in a perfect world? Of course. The fans are a huge part of what we do. On a personal note, the fans have been a big part of our success, having the home records that we've had and just seeing the growth from year 1 to year 5. Our fans deserve a lot of credit in that regard. But if we don't have a vaccine and it's deemed unsafe to have 18,000 fans at the Pepsi Center Well, I would not want to put the fans, the players, the coaches, the staff, the workers, anyone and everyone in the arena at risk of potentially contracting coronavirus, because this is something that is deadly and is affecting millions and millions of people around the world. So as much as I love our fans and want them back, if it's not going to be a safe environment, I would not want to put anybody in that position.
So there it is. I mean, he says essentially what a lot of coaches and a lot of players in a lot of different leagues are thinking. We're all for playing. Hey, we want to get back to work. We're not for an uncertain situation involving fans and a collection of people that could lead to something really bad. If that is the case, if that is indeed the case, and it sounds like most coaches think this way, God, when is the next time we're going to go to an arena or a stadium and see fans? Because I heard yesterday, hey, Gronk signed with Tampa. The Tampa Bay Bucks are coming to Denver to play the Broncos. Can't wait. Really? You going to be there? You going to be at that game? Who's going to be at that game? Anybody?
Okay, Vic, I don't want to get too philosophical on everybody here, and I don't want to get too crazy, because I get accused of things when I speak logically and rationally. That's when I get accused from a lot of different people. If you're waiting until there's a vaccine for every human in the United States, and consider that some will refuse to have the vaccine put into their body, some will. I don't know what percentage, but you know that some will.
Yeah, you got those whacks. You got whacks.
Okay. If you are waiting until every human being in the U.S. can get vaccinated, then it's going to be a couple of years, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking 2022, maybe 2023 to get fans back together, being able to be in that environment. Rock concert, sporting event, beer garden, right? I mean, what gym, guy blow drying up there in the mirror with no clothes on. Yeah.
You make a good point.
He goes up and down and up and down. We all know that dude, and I don't like that dude. But my point is that, Vic, if that's it now, if that's your reality, that's fine. Do you want to go herd mentality, and then it can happen faster? And then I mean, there's going to be decisions that are going to be made when you understand that. You can't hold people up for 2 years in their homes. You just can't do it.
That's fine and dandy, and I don't disagree with you. It's not what you think. All right, it's not what you think.
No, it is not what I think. That is correct.
The people that are actually out there performers, it's the people partaking. Now, can they be forced into it? Can they say, hey, we're paying you, either you do it or we don't pay you? I don't know. I don't know what happens here. I don't know what the next move is. I'm just telling you that fear still exists, and it exists more in others than it does in guys like you.
In the NBA, in the NBA, in terms of the four majors, the NBA, the fans are the most close to NBA players. I mean, they're right there courtside. Players go into the stands. Players are slapping hands. And maybe they'll put up barriers now, and you can't even get near a player. I don't know what the answer is in the NHL. Yeah, it's hard to get a hold of a player. That would be much more easy to control in terms of fan and player interaction. But I'm not even sure.
Peter McNabb mad.
That's exactly right. But I don't want to get to the point where the players don't interact with the fans. That would suck too. But I would rather have sports. Rather have sports. I'm just saying, Vic.
I'm with you. I agree with you. I would be comfortable doing that midsummer. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about those who get paid to entertain. If those people are not comfortable with it, then it's not happening. I'm telling you, right? It's not happening. And they won't play in front of fans.
The leagues will err on the side of caution. I mean, just they'll be way oversensitive to it. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And that's why I'm just sitting here. I'm like, okay, fine. We all agree, no fans. Just give me the games for now. I can handle the short term of no fans as long as you put the games on TV and I can watch. I'm good with it.
I'm just telling you, dude. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping this somehow, some way, miraculously, just it's gone and we're back to reality. But man, the more I hear folks talk, the more I highly doubt we are going to have fans involved in sports until the end of this year. at minimum. And that is sad.
Well,
I
don't know about that, man.
You don't know about that?
Time out.
What did I just?
We are learning more.
What don't you understand?
Okay, you want to get into it? You want to get into it, Spritle?
We don't get time right now.
Hey, Pork Rind, you want to do this? Then let's do it.
You think I don't want you? You know I'm on your side, right? I'm just telling you what I hear, what I see, not what I feel. Understand the difference. You're thinking about this emotionally and from your own. I'm thinking about
it logically. My brain.
Okay, so from what you gathered, all right. So Moshe, from what you've gathered, you talk to coaches, players. So you think that we're going to return to games with fans in the stands sooner than later?
Brett, take a break, and when we come back, I will educate young Spritle here.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you yeah, there you go. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Got a call from a longtime friend the other day, and she asked, "Hey, you still repping that home loan company?" Oh, of course I am. Ideal Home Loans. Yeah, well, we need to get something done because it's a perfect time to get something done. Exactly right it is. So I put her in contact with my man, Brent Ivinson, and Ideal Home Loans. One thing led to another. Boom, we're done. Hey, listen, we know it's tough out there. We know you're wondering about a lot of things right now. And that's why we're in this together, and we're all working from home, including the good folks at Ideal Home Loans. Listen to this. There has never been a better time. You need to refinance your place. This is the time to do it. You need to pay off credit cards. This is the time to use that home equity. Put it to good use. Ideal Home Loans helping you save money when your family needs that money most. Hey, and first responders, appreciate the commitment that you're giving the entire country at this time. You're first in line if you have any issues. They've been serving Colorado since 2001. Call Ideal Home Loans today, 303-867-7000. That's 303-867-7000 at idealhomeloans.com.
All right, Moj, do your educating. Go ahead.
All right. I got to be honest with you guys. I almost called Vic Spark Plug and Spanky at the same time.
You called him pork rind.
Yeah. I almost called him,
man. Listen, I feel your pain.
I almost called him.
I am as angry as you are about this because I'm angry at life.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm in my house 41 days with a dog, but think of what, if you combine Spanky and Sparkplug, what does that come out as?
Spank plug?
That's correct. Before the break, I almost called you Spank Plug, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I don't even know what that is. But the point is this: Roger Goodell.
Sparky, but all right, go ahead.
I'm glad it didn't happen. Continue. I was listening to Roger Goodell early this morning talking about the future of his league. I mean, talking about the draft and how it's going to go. And his family's not going to boo him. He's like, I get enough of that all the time anyway. Har, har. So we're not going to get our wish. But he was talking about, okay, well, what happens in the future? Will you consider playing without fans and so on? And he raised a very good point that I'm now going to raise with both of you and the listening audience. And that is, we have no idea. We are learning more about this every day, every week, every month. No one, and I mean no one, not even your boy Fauci or Birx or anybody else can predict where we're going to be in a week, 2 weeks,
I agree.
A month,
I agree.
2 months. So you don't really know. And I'm also reading, and the studies are coming out specifically out of California, but now these are starting to, all the top brains are starting to work on it, that potentially the first cases were not February 29th in the U.S. in Seattle, that the first cases dated back to the beginning of February in California.
Yep,
so
I read those same articles.
That now this, yep. So basically the coronavirus was spreading amongst all of us, potentially through the month of January, all the way through the month of February, all the way into the month of March, that it was actually going around. A lot of us, we didn't know it. We had the regular flu or whatever, or some people were completely asymptomatic, never even knew they had it, and that it's likely that it has infected and affected, 10 times, 20 times more people than we know about right now, which would mean
this is not enlightening, Moj. I've heard all this. We've read all this. Okay,
which means you get a different perspective, Vic, that the death rate is actually much, much lower.
Okay, that doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, yes, it does.
The question is this.
Listen to me. Let me
June 15th.
Let me finish.
Keep going. All right, go ahead.
The question then becomes, okay, well, if that's the case, what if they tested you for antibodies right now, or me, or whatever? I mean, the point is, maybe it's less deadly because so many more people have already been infected. Like, they're home quarantining right now, and they've already gotten it, and they didn't even know it, right? So the point is that maybe, and I don't know this, but I'm listening and reading the experts, maybe the cases of death and serious infection are way lower per capita than we even thought, right? So, I mean, we're going to learn more, and maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm just reading what the experts say. Maybe we'll get 2 weeks from now and a month from now, and people go, oh, God, man, everybody got it already. That kind of thing. Or a lot of people got it already, and maybe half the population carried it, or even 60%. And you're like, oh, God, well, they already got it. I mean, the things change in a situation like this. They morph, they grow, they dissipate, and we'll learn more in the coming days, weeks, and months that could very well allow for fans by midsummer, or certainly by September, or maybe not until 2030. Hell, I don't know. I'm just saying, Vic, you can't predict right now.
Who the hell's predicting? I'm telling you what you already told us.
You just said we ain't having fans till 2021. You just said that.
It's highly doubtful. Highly doubtful.
Well, how do you don't know? You don't know.
I can't argue. I can't. I don't know how to argue with this. I don't know what side.
Well, it's because I shut you down.
You shut me down.
I'll shut you down.
June 15th. June 15th. There's a game at Pepsi Center. You going to? You think he's going to be 18,000? June 15th. Right now, if you had to guess June 15th that they announced that the NHL or the NBA returns, is it going to be 18,000 strong June 15th? Right now, you had to wager your life on it right now. Yes or no?
I would say probably no.
Okay, how about July 15th?
I don't know, maybe. Probably.
Okay, how about August 15th?
I don't know.
September 15th?
I'll be there. I'll tell you what, I'll be there. You keep me out.
So will I. So will
I.
I'm not talking about you. You keep making this about you. It's not about you, Moser. It's about what will it take to get people back in the stands the way they returned before?
Well, I don't know. Vic, I don't know. I'll tell you what. Why don't you ask me in 2 weeks? Why don't you ask me in a month there? God, I almost said it again. I'm not going to say it. Why don't you ask me in a month? I don't know, Vic. If it turns out, if somehow we find out and the models play it out that 80% of this country, just by living in the month of January, February, and into March, already has it in some capacity or already got it in some capacity, they might just say, "Oh, hell with it then." Everybody already got it, and then you know what? If you don't think you got it, then stay home. I mean, I don't know what the rationale will be, Vic. Who knows what will happen? I don't know.
You know what I told my parents yesterday, and as long as we're going to get emotional about this and make it all about us, here's what I told my parents yesterday. I said, "What? What you tell my mom and dad? You guys are the most high risk people out there right now. You're in your 70s. You got some pre-existing conditions going.
Correct.
Guess what? Your life is going to change forever. It's going to change the way you." My dad is a socialite. He loves social. My mom too. You can't do what you did. You can't have people in your home the way you did before. You cannot do that anymore. You can't do what you did before. And that is because of where you are. You are not a child. You are 78 years old, 75 years old. You can't do what you did before. And that's just the way it's going to be.
Okay. Well, what if your old man says, "You know what, Vic? I need to see my grandkids and I don't even care. And I've lived a good life. I've raised a great family. I busted my hump for, 60 years as a man." You going to deny him that?
Hell no. That's not
okay. Then what's the point?
But if he says to me, "I'm going to a Post Malone concert," I may say, "I don't know if that's a good idea."
So that's where you got your music taste.
I know. It's exactly right. Easy's like, "Yeah, we're gonna."
We don't know for sure to something I do know for sure.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what's behind you. What's behind you?
I tried to cover up the blinds and make it a little easier to see.
What is that?
That's a blanket.
Dude, you are so Pueblo right now.
It looks better though. I like it. I like what you've done with your place.
Thank you. It's redecorating, interior design. Here's something I do know, that the Lions are the worst franchise in the history of sports. And did you hear what they're going to do on draft day? Their GM, Bob Quinn, is obviously doing his draft war room from his house. He is going to have an IT executive be stationed in his driveway in a Winnebago. Just in case anything goes wrong, he's going to sit there for all hours of the draft and only go inside the house if there's a problem. If there isn't, he is spending his life for 3 days in a Winnebago in a driveway, only going home at night just to show up again the next morning, probably at 5 a.m. And I just picture this Winnebago being the one either Cousin Eddie had in the Vacation movies, or two that Jesse and Walt cooked meth in Breaking Bad. It's not going to be a nice Winnebago. It's going to be a pile of garbage that they're going to take to a scrap yard afterwards. I know it. But can you imagine being the IT guy like, "Sorry, honey, I got to leave for work." "Where are you going?" "A Winnebago in a driveway." Like I'm doing surveillance for some sort of like narcos sort of investigation.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Brett, do you know how good a Winnebago sounds to me right now? Do you have any idea?
That's a great point, Mose. You don't have to be parked in neutral. You can buy a Winnebago, sell that little dad home of yours. And what do you get? You probably get a little trailer for that in return. Get yourself a Winnebago and tour the country.
Dude,
I'm a life hack. It's a life hack right now.
Dude, I'm getting me a Bago.
That's a great idea, dude.
Dude, I'm gonna go get me a Bago.
You could broadcast from it. I mean, today we're listening. Where are you today, Mose? You're halfway across the freaking country. That's a great, and then you can enjoy all the riches of every state. Whatever rules they have in place, you are a mobile homer. You can do whatever the hell you want.
You go to Jacksonville, Mose, you're on the beach, baby. You get to go on the beach.
Sign is going up in the yard today. And Marty, I'm going to get me a Bago.
I'm dead serious. I'm not joking.
You think I'm joking? Dude, this is genuine joy. I'm Bago bound, baby, with a fridge full of beer and a dog by my side, and I'm hitting the open road, baby. I'm losing it. 41 days in, and I'm getting me a Bago. And you try to stop me.
Back after this.
Don't do it, baby. No, don't do it. Wait, am I up?
Yeah, you're
Crap.
up.
I was singing to Marty. Dude, I was looking at this motorhome.
You were started singing like a 1960s Conway Twitty song, and I was like, this is not the song that has those lyrics. I promise you that.
No, I was looking at – I sent you guys a couple of options during the break that I was looking at. One is a 1967 Chevrolet C35 short bus. There it is right there. For those of you watching on the stream.
Short bus.
It's a little beat up.
Looks like something they used to transport prisoners.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
it's just
like
me and Jeff.
What stuff, right, Marty?
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of cool though. Could you imagine restoring that to something really cool? That'd be kind of cool.
Moj, this is not a joke. This is not radio fodder. This is you must buy a home on wheels. Think about even when we get back to normal, which I hope is sooner than later.
So am I going to live in the Pepsi Center parking lot?
I am not joking, dude.
Am I going to cousin any of that stuff right into the drain? Is that what I'm going to do?
No more having to drive to Pueblo between shifts, right? No more having to go to the end of the earth to get your stuff. All your stuff is in your mobile home, in your Winnebago, and you can drive that wherever, whenever you please.
Okay. And then I sent you another one. It's a 2016 Class A motor coach. It's a Ford. And there it is right there. Yeah. You just called Davis. And I was looking through the pictures. And, man, it's nice. It's got, Brett, look, it's got a console on the couch. You could put your cup there and your cheese.
Dude,
you would love that.
Thor Hurricane. You need to buy that one.
Yeah. And then, then look at the back. Look at the bedroom. I mean,
It's going to be you and your box. You're still under isolation, buddy. You're just on wheels now.
Oh, well, that sucks.
We got our virtual draft coming up here in a little bit. Reminder to you guys, we have live draft coverage presented by Modelo Especial. That's happening tomorrow. Vic, you're part of that broadcast tomorrow as we're doing live play-by-play, not play-by-play, but reviewing picks and giving opinions as the draft goes along. That's going to be Thursday and Friday night.
And we're not going to nerd out like some people do with this stuff, trying to predict everything. And, I mean, obviously we're going to have our fun with it, but we're going to broadcast the draft the way normal dudes do it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're not fashioning ourselves as draft experts like everybody likes to. Everybody's got a mock draft now. Isn't that fun?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody who's ever been involved in me. Here's my mock. Hey, I got my mock. We have our mock and we mock mocks.
Wait, did I not
the mock you hear every morning is a mockery of a mock.
Did I not tell you my
Correct.
mock 4.0 I got going right now?
Why does everybody insist on having a mock? Anybody who's involved in any form of media. Oh, well, got to get my mock in. Why?
Because they want to say that they're right if a pick happens that they.
So it's all about ego. It's about ego.
Of course.
Correct.
So it's an ego move. The mock's an ego move.
It's the same thing as okay, Friday, end of the show. What's your prediction for the Broncos score? I think it's going to be 31-23, and it's 30-24, and you're like, I told you.
I
guess you're right.
I'm so
you
right.
missed the game though. That's 48-3 that nobody
I've done
predicted.
That. No, you're right. I've done that. You're right. So it is all about ego then.
Yes.
Doing a mock draft. It's not about because it's not going to happen the way you predict. It never does. It never does. The trades automatically change our predictions.
So again,
not only that, but this year,
hang on, Moser. Starting at 6 p.m., we got the draft coverage presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with the fighting spirit. Jeff Legwell, by the way, he'll join us throughout these shows Thursday and Friday, and that's thanks to Templeton Rye. Just awarded double gold at the 2020 San Francisco Spirits competition.
The way you pronounce Spanish words, it's just all Nebraska.
Dude, you are just
so good.
It is. You're
it's
bad
so
as
good.
I'm on less than 12 of my beginner's Spanish right now. That I'm
it's so bad. I mean,
what do you mean?
You're obviously
Jesse?
not from you're not from North Denver.
Okay.
Where's Jesse? Where's Jesse? Okay, there's Jesse. Jesse,
what's up?
What's your heritage?
Hispanic.
Okay. Just say it. Say what Brett just said.
What did he say? Modelo?
Modelo Especial.
Modelo Especial.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, Jesse. Oh no! Did you hear how he rolled that L a little bit? Did you hear that L? One more time, Jesse.
Especial.
Hey Vic, describe Jesse going to the Hall of Fame with you and Ryan Harris or trying to order at a Mexican restaurant, please.
Let me tell you, Jesse is the whitest Mexican I've ever met.
He is. by far.
Jesse, you're more of a honky than Brett.
Okay. I'll take it.
He's like, he's like, yes, I will please have the number 14 with the real Relennos and the enchiladas.
Numero 14.
Yeah. And then, all right, so he can't communicate in Spanish with the Spanish waiter. He can't. He doesn't know how to speak. Meanwhile, our black former football player Ryan Harris has to step in and translate for us because our North Denver Mexican can't do it. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for you.
I did it all for TV.
Puedo un número 14. Bam. Get
Boom.
Spanish in your face.
Hey, but as far as the draft is concerned,
one thing I want to say about this, I was blown away. John Elway has been the GM for how many years now? Is it 7 years?
I believe this will be his ninth draft, right?
Yeah,
so,
ninth draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know in that time that he has been GM, he has not drafted a single Alabama Crimson Tide player?
Yeah, aware of that.
Not one.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that just crazy? Like, you think of teams, and this is the way that my mind operates, is that, if you get a guy in the third round, well, he played for LSU. That's an SEC player. Like, I'm biased like anybody else when it comes to this. I just find it amazing. In that amount of time, not one Alabama player has found his way in the mix in a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, nothing.
Well, it just works out that way sometimes.
He
those
says
guys
it's just a coincidence. He was asked that question. He said
just
not
a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't worked out. It's not like he has some issue with Nick Saban players. He just total coincidence on his end.
And as far as the answer right here.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fell that way. There's really no reason. I know that obviously we got a great deal of respect for the program down there that Nick Saban has and the football players that they have in their system. And so it's just kind of fallen that way. There's really nothing more than that, and it just hasn't worked out. So I think, to be able to say that there's a reason why we haven't drafted anybody from Alabama, we really don't have a reason other than the fact that it's just not falling that way.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's just one of those anomalies in life, Brett. I mean, it's not like there's specifically –
I wasn't chastising him for it. I just thought it was interesting. That's all.
Oh, it is interesting. But listen, in a draft like this, and again, you're talking, will they go and try to get Ruggs? I mean, what will they try? Is it a Judy situation? What will they try to do? I mean, who knows if that's the case? But in this particular draft, I think there's still so much unknown because these teams have not been able to get their hands on these players for the most part. Everything has had and I was reading that thing where one team was conducting interviews and they had everything in between. One guy showed up in a suit with a tie, very calm. And then one guy did his interview with the team from his bed in his pajamas while playing video games.
No,
yes.
He didn't. No,
yes.
He didn't. All right,
yes.
That guy's out.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is they've got everything in between. So I think this draft could be the most unpredictable draft we've seen in 30 years. I mean, it very well.
I need to know who that player is. I need to know.
I would too.
I need to know who decided I'm going to talk to a prospective employer by playing video games in my sweats. I need to know who that is.
In bed. In bed.
I need a name. I need a name right now.
Joe Burrow.
Find it
probably. I mean, Joe Burrow could do it
for this job. If I was interviewed for this job by our PD Dave Tepper right now, it would be through a Zoom call. I would be on this couch playing video games at the time. Yeah, it's like sports.
Then you're not getting the job.
Anytime you're doing an interview with the Lions on the Zoom, like you show up, you're like hammering a bong. I'd love to play for the Lions. No, it'd be awesome, man. Yeah.
No, you guys are joking around, though. You guys are joking around, and I know
dude's like, hey, Lions, listen, I love to hammer mushrooms every day. Is that cool? I mean, are you cool with that, man? Because anyway.
But if you're a prospective player and you can't get your crap together for 20 minutes of your time, just get your crap together, put everything down, and pay full attention to the person asking. If you can't give them that, what are you going to do? What's the point?
Don't know.
We got a virtual draft coming up here in a little bit. Reminder to you guys that we are streaming the show currently. Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, all of those.
Is anybody watching?
SR. Yeah, dude, you should see the Twitch chat. The Twitch chat is blowing up.
Dude, I don't know what Twitch is.
How do you get on Twitch?
How do you Twitch it?
Where do you Twitch?
I want to Twitch.
and search Altitude SR.
Right,
We
hold on a
pop up at the
second.
top of the page. And you know what? I'm giving you guys some because we got no
Chat
audio
TV.
going on because we can't get the rights passed for music and stuff like that. So I'm giving you
Yeah.
guys doggy cams in the middle of these breaks. You can
Twitch
see
me.
my
Okay, wait.
dogs.
What do
Twitch
you mean
me.
we can't
I
get
walk
rights
you
for
through it
what?
now. We can't
get right.
Like the
rights.
the music that we bump back
Oh
with.
yeah. All those music people. We're in the middle of a freaking virus quarantine. Calm down with your music rights.
We have to take a break.
Why don't we just play Van Halen all that? Let's just put all our money where it should go, to Van Halen.
Search Altitude SR. You can find our feed. It's the same thing.
Dude, I searched
Twitter,
Altitude and I've got the Washington Injustice against the Soul Bubble Tea.
Altitude SR. Add an SR at the end of it. God,
you got me in a freaking video game league
Marty,
here. Now it's the Atlanta Brain against the
Vic's
San
trying to
Francisco
navigate
Shook.
Twitch.
Marty, this is what the NFL draft's going to be. It's going to be either 18-year-old children running up to the room saying, I can't find, it says join audio or stop video. What do I do on my Zoom call?
I'm now a member. Dude, I'm an unofficial member of the San Francisco Shook of the League of Leagues.
Somebody
That's
call
awesome.
the dude in Vic's driveway in the Winnebago to go help him out. We're back after this.
Hey, man, I know I take a lot of shots at gamers and stuff like that, but this Twitch TV, this is sweet. I mean, wow. Thank you.
Did you find us, or are you still looking at other videos?
No, it's us. I'm no longer a member of the San Francisco Shook. I actually got it now. When you search Altitude SR.
Did you get traded, or would you just quit?
Yeah, I got let go. I got waived by the San Francisco Shook. They sold the old man in it.
He said, "Where's the B button?" And they said, "You got to get the hell out of here."
Get out
This
of
is
here, man.
cool. It's a crisp, clear video feed of our radio show, and it has a running stream of comments on the side. It's beautifully done. Very
dude,
well done.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what. Gosh darn it, Larry. Let me try.
Oh God. Okay, we aren't doing this now. This is virtual draft time. So as you figure that out, Moj, just search Altitude SR on Twitch.tv.
Okay.
No, you don't do it, Moj.
Okay.
You only have one computer. I have multiple, so I'm able to get it done.
I have an
feed.
iPad and remember I have my poker computer.
Your $200 Lenovo.
Oh, here we are. Okay, here we are, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
Not
us.
good.
I got us right here.
Yeah, that's sweet. Poor Marty.
Welcome to the chat room. I'm going to say something.
Yeah, Marty is in studio and he can't pull up Twitch because we have 8,000 firewalls set up. Would one of the internet police at KSC please allow Marty to Twitch?
Where are the internet folks?
Need the software, folks.
Don't we have an internet hall monitor over there that can allow it green for go?
So look, I want everybody to see. I'm on the Twitch. I'm watching us while I watch the thing. That's pretty cool, man.
I mean,
all right,
you
cool.
aren't showing anybody who's not already watching a stream.
Well, no, but somebody says Moj does not. He's lying. Well, I got it. So there you go.
Okay.
By the way, we only have
Raj. Raj is running our Twitch feed right now, so he's the guy chatting.
Wait, you have to have somebody running it? What do you mean running it?
He's in the chat. He's talking to people.
Oh, hey, what's up, Raj? I'm told by one of our loyal listeners, we have 17 viewers on Twitter right now, 56 on Twitch. Twitch is the future. Okay, I'm all in. I'm a gamer.
Marty, our virtual draft, going back to that, our picks so far, if we start at number 1, we're going with Joe Burrow to the Bengals. Number 2, Chase Young to the Redskins. Number 3, Tua T. Scribble in a trade to number 3 with the Lions. The Giants take Tristan Wirfs at number 4. The Lions take Jeff Okudah at number 5. The Chargers at number 6, Justin Herbert. The Panthers, number 7, Isaiah Simmons. The Cardinals, number 8, Jedrick Wills. Derek Brown to the Jags at 9. Mekhi Becton to the Browns at 10. Jerry Jeudy to the Jets at 11. And the Patriots traded up number 12 to take Jordan Love, which takes us to the 49ers, who already acquired that pick in a trade with the Colts earlier for DeForest Buckner. We go now to the commissioner.
All right, the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. However, the Colts were supposed to pick in this spot before the DeForest Buckner trade. As a tip of the cap, the 49ers are letting Jim Irsay announce their selection. Jim, how are you?
Hello, Colts Nation, NFL Nation, this nation, and the world in general. Drake and I are here, my good buddy, and we're just bunkering down.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, we're all kind of doing the same thing here. Look, this pick could have been yours, but now you're announcing for the 49ers. Did they give you any advice?
Follow the playbook. Do what they say. And trust me, the sun will rise. We'll be united together.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
This is my little doggy Drake, and we're holed up here.
Yeah, you mentioned your little buddy Drake, your little dog there.
So Drake, you go over here for a second.
What are you doing, Jim?
Okay.
No, don't get the guitar, Jim.
Just
Jim.
touch a Bob Seger here.
Jim, no, come on, man.
Jim.
Jim, no, come on, man. Jim. Oh, God. Jim, all you have to do is just make the pick. Just make the pick. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to text John Lynch, and he'll just tell me who you're going to take, okay? Who do you want for the 13th pick? Irsay's off the rails. Oh, he's typing. He's typing back. CeeDee Lamb. We're taking CeeDee Lamb.
That's awesome.
Okay. Thank you for absolutely nothing, Jim. That was a huge waste of time.
That's exactly how it would go, too.
Irsay literally did that in his coronavirus PSA. Pulled out a guitar and started playing Bob Seger.
See, Moj, now you know how it feels to have someone that you don't know pull out any musical instrument thinking that you want to hear them play it. Now you know exactly. Nobody wants to hear you play your instrument unless you're a professional, unless you are an actual.
Oh God.
Nobody wants to. No, I can't think of anyone on Twitch. No listener. No one wants to hear you strum your guitar.
Not a single person.
Ever.
A little too tall. Could have used a few pounds.
Oh my God, man.
Fat pants Paul. Hollering out. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes.
All right,
okay.
We got to stop that.
Marty, I sent you a
Thanks,
DM. I'll tell you this. This is the only exception I would make. And just play this. You don't got to worry about, editing it, nothing else. Just rip it off the computer. This video that I've sent Marty, if Moser played this instrument, I would allow him just to break into song at any given time. This is one of those guys. I don't know if it's in Italy. It looks like it's somewhere in Europe. But he went out to his balcony, started playing this for all the people standing out in their balcony. If you could do this, Moser, I would make an exception. If you can rip that saxophone like that, I'm in.
Yes. See, if you're a professional in whatever instrument you play and you tour and people pay for it, yes, I get it. I totally get it. But if you're Mark Moser sitting at home for 42 days and you pull out your guitar, nobody cares. Stop it.
Marty, go to break on this. Just let it ride. Let it ride, baby.
Is that Jeff Driscoll? Is that our guy? Is that our quarterback?
That's this is Jeff Driscoll. He has to stop playing football right now.
That's my quarterback.
Wait for it.
Oh,
so good.
God,
Turn it up, Marty.
Good.
Turn it up, Marty.
Give it to me, Marty.
This than our show.
This is backup quarterback Jeff Driscoll of the Denver Broncos during quarantine.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Yeah.
Beat drop.
This is Altitude Sports Radio 92.5's Andy Lindahl with his 12-pack of NFL draft prospects who best fit Denver and play with a fighting spirit. Presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with a fighting spirit.
T. Higgins is a 6'3 receiver out of Clemson that weighs 216 pounds. A big receiver, he averaged 19 yards a catch in 2 of his 3 seasons with the Clemson Tigers. He also had a touchdown reception every 4.5 catches during the past 2 seasons. One of the big pluses with Higgins is the fact that he can play all the receiver spots and might be the best of the class when it comes to the 50-50 ball. That's something that made Cortland Sutton so valuable when the Broncos took him a couple years ago. Higgins, though, is going to need to be more physical, and he's going to have to handle defensive backs coming up in press coverage better than he did in college. Jeff Legwold has Higgins ranked at 24 on his top 100, so 15 might be an early slot for Higgins to get drafted. The Broncos might make him a target if they choose to trade down.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and the Altitude Sports Radio app. This is Altitude Sports Radio 92.5's Andy Lindahl with his 12-pack of NFL draft prospects who best fit Denver and play with a fighting spirit. Presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with a fighting spirit.
In a loaded receiver class, wide receiver Justin Jefferson is the perfect combination of size and speed. The receiver out of LSU is 6'1", 202, and ran a 4.43 40 at the Combine. Jefferson did a bulk of his work in the slot last season, but he was also a key figure in the Tigers' run to the championship. He can play all over the formation, and he has some of the best hands on the board. He snatches the ball, which helps create more space against the defender, and he certainly runs well after the catch. If the Broncos were to stay at the number 15 pick, Jefferson could be their guy, or they could choose to trade down and pick up an additional pick and still take Jefferson before they get to the 20th pick. Jeff Legwold has Justin Jefferson listed as the 17th best player in his top 100 rankings.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and the Altitude Sports Radio app. This is Altitude Sports Radio 92.5's Andy Lindahl with his 12-pack of NFL draft prospects who best fit Denver and play with a fighting spirit. Presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with a fighting spirit.
Kenneth Murray is a 6'2", 241-pound linebacker out of the University of Oklahoma. At the Combine, his 40-yard dash time was 4.52. He has tremendous range and finishes tackles all over the field. He has elite burst, and his play speed is among the best on the board. One of the negatives, though, with Murray is that sometimes he will overrun misdirection plays because he charges the ball so hard, but he has a great nose for the football and has great football instincts. He also was one of the leaders on the Oklahoma team and has been lauded for his work ethic and skill. Murray is a player that would fit for the Broncos at number 15 and could be the pick if they don't choose to move. He ranks 16th on Jeff Legwold's top 100, and Jeff Legwold absolutely loves this kid.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and the Altitude Sports Radio app.
It is always amazing. We do the virtual draft, and we spend a grand total of about 3 seconds talking about the pick that was just made. Vic, let's see how much you're paying attention. Who was the draft pick right there for the San Francisco 49ers? Do you know?
I have no idea. Who did they pick?
CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, that's right. I like him, by the way. Here's a guy who's mocking mocks. I think CeeDee Lamb's my favorite receiver in the draft.
He's certainly good, man. Oklahoma, the numbers that he put up with Jalen Hurts, and, you know, you throw Kyler Murray into that mix too. He's definitely really, really good. Do you have that same concern, the ones that people have about quarterbacks that come from like spread offense systems, high octane offenses? Do you apply the same logic to receivers that come from those systems too? That are
because they're just, yeah. I don't care about the stats. I don't even know his stats.
Right.
I don't know. I just looked at him. I watch him play. I saw him at the Combine. I love his game. He's long. He can go get the ball. He can jump. He can do it all. I love it.
If you
I like CeeDee. I love his name.
Guys, CeeDee Lamb is a cool name. But if you
by the way, it's CeeDee. CD, not like CD. It's CeeDee Lamb. Right. I like that.
If you can get any of those top three dudes, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. I mean, isn't it amazing? Henry Ruggs ran a 4.27. We're talking about Tyreek Hill type speed, and he's probably third on the list of guys that you put at receiver. Although his name has been rising the last couple of weeks.
Can you imagine though, like you have to settle for Justin Jefferson? I mean,
settle.
Favorite target for Joe Burrow. I mean, can you imagine? If we have to have Jefferson, I guess, okay, fine. I mean, any other year, that guy would be one of the top wideouts in the entire draft.
Rose, I just read during the break. You got to go read it. Laviska Shenault had a letter through the Players Tribune that he wrote to NFL GMs just to fortify his health. And there was a video released yesterday. We'll get more into that when we do our pick six, that showed him running routes, looking good after surgery. Dude, I know we've had doubts about Shenault and his injury history, but I'm sorry. I read this, and whatever purpose it served to get people involved, get people interested in him, I feel like running through a wall right now after reading this letter he wrote.
I did the same thing this break. I read that
Holy
exact same
moly.
story. And you know what?
You have the same feeling?
Oh, of course. See, this is the issue with Shenault. Talent-wise, everything that you want. Competitive-wise, everything that you want. Just his general demeanor, everything that you want. The only question is this guy going to be on the field for more games than he's not? That's all. And it's a fair question to ask. But reading that story, this is what I think people get hung up on. And I'm one of those people. He says, I've played through injuries my entire life. And you're like, I know.
Why are you injured?
Why are you
injured your entire life?
Well,
that's the thing, too.
And I think the reason he puts out there is because he does things that normal guys would not venture to do. He takes his body to places we would never take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair enough, Vic. But my only concern, and by the way, we together have watched him. We've watched him individually. We'll watch him his whole Colorado career. His talent is unquestionable. The guy is an absolute stud. I think he has a
game
chance
changer.
to be. There's no doubt about it. He's a star. However, there have been times when I'm watching. I'm like, where's Visca? Where'd he go? Well, he's out. He's on the sideline. Where he just all of a sudden for the next series he's gone, and I'm like, well, what's the problem? Where is
that
he?
his fault, or is that the play caller's fault?
Well, I don't know. Vic, I don't know. But here's what I do know. In the NFL, guys are only bigger and stronger and faster, and they're going to hit you just as hard. I mean, where is his body? Same kind of question with Tua. Tua's a quarterback, so it's different. And his talent – and by the way, I'll get into Tua here momentarily because I heard an interview with Lane Kiffin, who recruited Tua to Alabama, talking about Tua in this year's draft. But it's just one of those things where is his talent worth the risk that his body is not going to hold up? For Shenault, I mean, to me, having watched him, absolutely. I think he's an absolute player.
Somebody on our Twitch feed chat room, Colorado TRV, says, it makes a good point. Says, we all think that health's going to be the issue in the NFL, but this person writes in, he won't be lining up as a tight end or blocking or going against blocking defensive ends like he did in college. He was used too many different ways in college. In the NFL, he won't be asked to do as much. Okay, that's a fair point.
Well,
dude, I'm not
it's
sure.
Fair because of this. I mean, listen, when it's 3rd and 1 in the fourth quarter, need to extend a drive, what did Colorado do? They lined him up in the Wildcat, and they said, run it up the middle, dude.
Yeah.
Bury
and everybody knew it.
Bash people.
Yep. And every single player, every single fan, every single coach on the sideline knew what was coming. Wildcat to Laviska Shenault, and they still couldn't stop it. He was that powerful.
Couldn't. And he was still, I mean, yeah, he can catch the ball tremendously. None of that is a problem. We're all agreeing on the same thing. It's just a matter of, is his body going to hold up? I mean, any coach, any GM, any scout that gets their hands on all the Laviska tape is going, wow, this guy is such a player. He's a total stud. There's no doubt about that. Anybody who's seen him, anybody who's watched his game-breaking ability, game-changing ability agrees on that. Man, what the next hit, is he out for 6 games? That's the question.
Let me make it easy for you. Let's say the Broncos stay put where they draft at 15. And then, of course, what is the number in the second round? What is it? 40? What is the number exactly? 46?
47? 46, 47, right around there.
If they stay put and they don't move around, and I tell you that the Denver Broncos select with their first 2 picks, an offensive tackle, number 1, and Laviska Shenault with their second pick.
I'm in.
Brett?
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm in.
Again, Laviska, I don't think anybody's going to really complain if you get him on your roster. The concerns are going to be there, though, regardless. Concerns of how much is he going to be able to stay on the field.
See, until Vic, that's not an unfair thing. Until he does, it's on him, and it's not even on him; it's on his body. I mean, I think the want to is there. I think the drive is there. I think the will is there. It's just, can his body hold up, because it hasn't for extended periods of time so far, and that's yet to be proven, and that's an absolutely fair point of view.
Isn't it amazing how a quick read from a player can change your perception, change your mind? I mean, because if you had asked me that question an hour ago, I'd say, nah, I'm staying away from this guy. Just don't trust the injury. And then I read this letter and I read his heart, essentially. And I'm sorry. Maybe I fall for stuff like this too easily. Maybe I'm too easily influenced. Okay, I'm that guy. Yes, I'm easily influenced. I changed my mind.
For him? What's the floor for him? Like, if I just ask you this straight up, do you think he could be a third-round pick? Would he fall to the third round? Do you think that's possible, yes or no?
I think it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, if teams are scared off. No, I
don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely.
He's a second rounder.
Listen, if he didn't have the injury history, Brett, he's a first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
The injury history puts him to the second round. Could he drop to the third? Could he be one of those guys that slide? Absolutely, he could be. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. He could be that guy. And then he'll be pissed. And then he'll be like, all right, every team that passed on me, I'm going to destroy you in the National Football League.
So strong.
And by the way,
legs, so strong. Just a base, strong base.
Brett, we should never have told Vic about Twitch, because it's just another avenue for him to look and Colorado TV says blah.
Yeah,
so-and-so says blah.
You see, another way to ignore you, no doubt about it.
You see what I'm saying, Brett? I think it's all your fault, Kane.
I'm surprised that Vic actually hasn't, since he opened up that Twitch feed, repeated something that either me or you have said in the 20 minutes that he's been on there.
That's pretty amazing.
A lot of references to Moser's Tinder profile on this. Apparently the same circles there.
The putter throw is coming in.
I don't have it. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it.
Back after this.
This is Altitude Sports Radio 92.5's Andy Lindahl with his 12-pack of NFL draft prospects who best fit Denver and play with a fighting spirit. Presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with a fighting spirit.
Wide receiver Henry Ruggs out of Alabama ran a 4.27 40-yard dash at the Combine. Just 5'11 and 188, he has a lot of NFL scouts seeing Tyreek Hill, although some have cautioned that you are not getting Tyreek Hill with Henry Ruggs. However, he does have the speed to pop the top and make an impact immediately on a team's offense, and is also an excellent returner. He might be the fastest player on the board, but more than straight line speed, Ruggs can throttle down and get back to full speed quickly, getting him in and out of routes as well. He has good hands, and he will make an impact in space. Henry Ruggs is a guy that a lot of Bronco fans are hoping is there at 15, and he may be the guy for the Broncos to add a little vertical threat in the new Pat Shurmur offense. Jeff Legwald ranks Ruggs at 15 in his top 100.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and the Altitude Sports Radio app.
It's time for the Pick Six, the 6 biggest stories in football that have not gotten enough attention. As always, they are brought to you by the Blake Street Tavern, all Avs and Nuggets games and over 65 TVs with game sound. Mark Tate.
That's what we call a sack lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
God, I love that movie. I love Wedding Crashers. Hey, listen, this is wideouts all over the place. I mean, we're talking wideouts in the draft. We're talking wideouts in free agency. We're talking wideouts getting traded. And we're talking about Percy Harvin. He hasn't played in the league since 2016 season. Bunch of injuries throughout his career. He's been off for a couple years, and he says, you know what? I'm ready to come back. He's only 32 years old. He doesn't have that wear and tear in the last couple of years. He says he's been working out with the Olympic athletes, former Olympian. He weighs $185, and he's ready to join any offense that'll just let me go. Interesting guy, Percy Harvin. I don't know what.
Yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes. Should the Broncos make a call? Yes. Should the Broncos be interested? Yes.
Yes.
Should the Broncos look at that guy and say, ooh, he could fit nicely in the slot? Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, and I don't know what price he'll come, but absolutely I would make that call, Bretsky. Absolutely.
Starting off on Wednesday morning in Colorado Springs in the mid-30s, we're seeing.
I was waiting for Brett to say, no, he's an old dude trying to come back.
Forget about it.
Yeah, Gronk's washed up. I was waiting for that. You didn't come up with that one?
No,
you were
I
thinking it, right, Brett? Yeah, you thought it. I know you did. You wouldn't make a call? You wouldn't make a call to see what he's all about?
I got no problem kicking the tires. I got no problem with that. I just don't have much expectation.
All right. Let me ask you. All right. Let me ask you if you'd kick the tires on this, because here's the tweet of the day yesterday. Everybody coming back to play with Tom Brady. The quarterback effect. We saw it in Denver with Peyton Manning.
I think I know where you're going.
His favorite athlete of all time, Caners. Barry Sanders tweeting, hey, tell Tom Brady I'm flattered but not planning on coming back to play. I'm hoping to get the Lions away game at the Buccaneers before he does retire. So Barry Sanders makes it official. He is not coming out of retirement to play with Tom Brady. Would you kick the tires on Barry Sanders at age 50?
Oh, yeah. And it's not even kicking the tires, Vic. He would run for 1,500 yards. And there's no question about it.
He probably would.
You know
I thought you were talking about – go ahead. I'm sorry.
How much you going to trade for Barry Sanders? He comes out of retirement right now. You get a 7th round pick? Because he's got to get traded. He's still under contract.
I will make this very easy for you. Nate Kreckman texted me last week. One of the topics on his shows, he said, in your opinion, just give me your opinion, who is the greatest football player of all time? And I thought about it, and I said, well, that's hard, man, because, there's so many different positions, and people automatically are going to go to the quarterback position. So I'm not even going to consider quarterbacks. The greatest football player I've ever seen in my life is Barry Sanders. Is that a stretch? Not for me, it isn't. He's the greatest football player I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, you could very well be right. I mean, regarded as the greatest football player of all time overall is Jerry Rice, but it could be Barry Sanders. Could be Barry Sanders.
I've never seen the things Barry Sanders did. I've never seen any other player do what he did at that level. Ever. And no one's even come close, in my opinion. No one.
Whenever somebody, and it's infuriating to me, whenever somebody says he reminds me of Barry Sanders, he
doesn't. He doesn't. Stop it. He doesn't. Barry Sanders is able to. Come on, just pull up the tape. Get this
yards per carry and 37 touchdowns. 37, dude.
Dude, it's not.
How
even
did the Lions? How did they suck so bad with Barry Sanders? How was that even possible?
And consider this, because he was this good when the opposing defense knew exactly who was going to get the ball and they knew exactly who to key on. There was no other It was like, well, it's going to get Barry Sanders ball.
How is it even possible?
With a terrible offensive line, too. Just crazy. All right, go ahead, Mike.
This is 1 6-footer. I can't handle one-on-one. Ladies, let's have a party.
All right. So the Patriots, their dynasty, or the way that we think about it, Brady gone, Gronk gone, that's done and over with. And people are having this discussion. I don't think it's a question. It's the greatest dynasty in the history of sports. You win your division that many years consecutively. And what was it, like 20 out of 21 years or something like that? They won the AFC East. Tom Brady's appeared in more Super Bowls than he's missed. There's nothing that we're going to see that's ever like that again. But if you just want some comparison shopping, this is insanity. The Chicago Bulls, how's this for a stat? The 95 through 96 Bulls teams over the course of 2 seasons from November 1995 to June 1997, the Bulls were favored in 185 consecutive games, a record that will never be broken again.
Ever, ever, ever. Not a chance.
185 in a row, they were the favorites. So maybe you can put that one up with the Patriots, but that's the only conversation I'm going to hear.
Can't even imagine.
Do you remember that year, Moj, where Peyton's Broncos were favored in every single regular season game? What year was that? What year?
That was the year before the Super Bowl, I think. Before the Super Bowl, they lost, I believe.
Okay. Was it the year that they lost first round to Indy?
Yeah. God, I have to look back, Vic. I think it was the year they lost to Baltimore.
But it was preposterous, Kane. At the beginning of the season, they have those futures and those odds, and you're like, okay, favorite here, favorite, okay, favorite there. Whoa, my God, favorite every game?
Every game.
Okay. Yeah. Marty, go ahead.
I almost, before the break, I almost called you Spank Plug. Okay. Okay. I was going to go with the Baltimore Ravens accidentally, or maybe didn't accidentally, leak out that Lamar Jackson's going to be on the cover of the new Madden game, Madden 21, right? And so EA Sports is pretty upset about it. You know, when the Ravens leak your cover athlete, frowny emoji. Anyway, there's no Madden curse anymore. Patrick Mahomes was on for 2020.
Can you do that Madden on this Twitch? Can you do that Madden on the Twitcher?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, vernacular aside, yes, you can play Madden on Twitch, yes. You stream it, you don't
guys,
play it on Twitch.
I'm liking this Twitcher.
I was going to go with that, but I got a text during this segment from my brother-in-law, Bob, who's been on the show before, and this is why I love my brother-in-law to death, but this is why I also sometimes just want to punch my family out. Just want to punch them out. Can I – and for those who are in the sports world, but maybe some of their family members –
We're only on 4.
Read this, please. Just read it. Read it out loud.
You watching the 2020 NFL Draft tomorrow night? Anything exciting I should be paying attention to? Burrow?
I don't know if he knows what I do. It's like does he think I'm like an airline pilot or something? I mean, what does Mother Trucker think I do for a living?
Allow me this
problem.
Get him on so I could just go off on him a little bit. We got, Bob. I love when Bob joins us. What does he do for a living?
Sports radio host, are you watching the draft tomorrow?
What does he think I do?
What does Bob do?
Oh, he's in like
Burrow fella.
What does he do? What does he do?
Let me. He'll tell you. It's a insurance benefit something.
Okay.
Or other.
All right. So if we had mass chaos, hail damage left and right, you should call him and say, "Hey, noticed a lot of hail. Is your business doing anything about this?"
No, it's like benefits, like health insurance. I don't know. You have to ask him. But
hey,
okay, so
noticed a lot of health.
Are you busy right now in your job? Go ahead. Next.
All right. Yeah. Next. Go on. Yeah. Pass me next.
All right. You know what, Marty? Let's just go to the extra point. We got no time. What do you got?
Well, this has gone smooth. Ex-NFL Commissioner Oliver Luck is suing Vince McMahon. Your thoughts on that? Or should we just ask Bob?
Suing Vince McMahon. Did you see the premise of his lawsuit for
wrongful termination? What's the deal here?
Well, the league is not being seen. I don't know what else to tell you, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is his complaint? Like, coronavirus has knocked out a lot of things here, including the XFL. Can you really sue Vince McMahon for a pandemic?
Vince McMahon has done a lot of things wrong, but I mean, what's he going to – no, damn it. Find the vaccine and give me my job back.
Yeah. Well, somebody in that Luck family's got to be employed, right?
Oh, crap.
All right, what is he saying, Moser? I can't read it. It's blurry. What does it say?
I said, dude, we're getting you on the show. He says, for the draft, ? Dude, I'm a Marblehead. I don't know anything. That's why I have you. What does he think that – I don't know what he thinks I do. No, dude, I'm not going to watch the draft tomorrow. I'm stuck home for day 42 with my dog, and I'm going to go upstairs and play with myself. I mean, what do you think?
Okay.
What do you?
Okay. All right.
I mean, what does
that's
he think
even
I
too
do
much
for a living?
That's even
I'm
too
sorry.
much. For
I
Twitch.
apologize, Marty.
Go ahead,
Marty, cut that out. Cut it out. I mean, I don't know what he thinks. But do you understand my life now? Do you understand how frustrating it is for me? Do you understand?
No,
Can
it's
you relate?
ridiculous. Yeah, somebody on the text line says. Somebody in the text line says, next time you talk to Bob, say, hey, health insurance guy, you paying attention to this coronavirus this week?
Dude,
Is there anything I need to know
I'm sorry.
about this?
I didn't mean to be flippant. I don't mean to be flippant. I apologize. It's just like should I be excited? He always does that. He'll go like, hey, the Avs won last night. Was it good?
Yeah. No, my favorite is when you come upon someone.
Dude, were you at the game last night?
Exactly.
What do you think I do?
When you're in the middle of the season with multiple games going on and you have someone come up and say, hey, how about that game? Well, which game?
I'm sorry.
Which one are we talking about?
I apologize.
Please give them to me. That's the Pick Six brought to you by the Blake Street Tavern. Back after that.
This is Altitude Sports Radio 92.5's Andy Lindahl with his 12-pack of NFL draft prospects who best fit Denver and play with a fighting spirit. Presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with a fighting spirit.
Wide receiver Henry Ruggs out of Alabama ran a 4.27 40-yard dash at the Combine. Just 5'11 and 188, he has a lot of NFL scouts seeing Tyreek Hill, although some have cautioned that you are not getting Tyreek Hill with Henry Ruggs. However, he does have the speed to pop the top and make an impact immediately on a team's offense, and is also an excellent returner. He might be the fastest player on the board, but more than straight line speed, Ruggs can throttle down and get back to full speed quickly, getting him in and out of routes as well. He has good hands, and he will make an impact in space. Henry Ruggs is a guy that a lot of Bronco fans are hoping is there at 15, and he may be the guy for the Broncos to add a little vertical threat in the new Pat Shurmur offense. Jeff Legwold ranks Ruggs at 15 in his top 100.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and the Altitude Sports Radio app. Five's Andy Lindahl with his 12-pack of NFL draft prospects who best fit Denver and play with a fighting spirit. Presented by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with a fighting spirit.
When you talk about the NFL draft in 2020, the conversation usually revolves around how many good receivers there are in this draft class. Some prospects may get pushed lower than they would be in other years, but not CeeDee Lamb. Many NFL talent evaluators believe that he could be the best of the bunch. Lamb is known for his big playability, called a big play machine at Oklahoma, and his ultra-reliable hands. Lamb also is a good route runner and can force missed tackles. Lamb is going to have to be ready for more contact and bump coverage from NFL corners than what he saw at the defensively weak Big 12 level. Lamb comes in at 6'1 and 198 and ran a 4.5 40 at the Combine. He might be the perfect fit for the Broncos if they stay at 15. Jeff Legwold has him ranked at 13 in his top 100.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage, 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and the Altitude Sports Radio app.
Again, you guys can watch live on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of those. If you just search Altitude SR on any of those, the Twitch chat is lively. I'm enjoying it. And one of our, I don't know, what do you call them Twitchers? What do you call them, Marty? The hell's the term?
Yes, they are referred to as Twitchers.
Okay, Twitchers. One of our Twitchers said this. I will say I really like the Twitch chat more than the text line. I like seeing everybody else enjoying the morning show. Yeah, you guys can have your own little chat room where you can actually see everything, picky and choosy. It's not just whenever we bring up Moser not having a Tinder, you can actually see people sending it out.
Yeah. You know, I am a expert on technology, as I've tried everything from Periscope to IG and all that other crap.
Marty,
but
do
this
you have
Twitch,
the audio of him trying to find our feed on Twitch?
This Twitch is a new level of greatness that I have to admit, it is the finest platform I've seen in quite some time for the kind of thing we do. Kudos to all the gamers out there. My apologies for ripping on the gamers for years, but you've given back to society in a unique way, and I admire that. Thank you.
Again, we got our draft coverage coming your way tomorrow and Friday, starting at 6 o'clock. Almost all of us from the radio station. It's going to be hosted by Andy Lindahl, but all of us jumping on with Andy throughout the hours of the draft on Thursday and Friday night. It's presented by Modelo Especial, or as you guys would like me to say, Modelo Especial, official beer of the fans with the fighting spirit. Jeff Legwald also joins the shows throughout the nights, thanks to Templeton Rye, just awarded double gold at the 2020 San Francisco Spirits competition. Fan interaction is welcome and encouraged. And as Vic said earlier, this isn't like your nerd breakdown of the draft. We will have enough of that evaluation and stuff like that throughout the nights. But look, it's just like our shows. We're just on during the draft. That's all. In fact, I might have a pop or two, because I'm on at 8 to 10 on Friday night. You know, I'm drinking something. Maybe it's Modelo Especial.
So I got first shot Thursday when the big picks come down, right? First round. I got the first part of the first round when the Broncos will draft. I got the big one. When you guys up?
I am the last 2 hours.
Oh. How about you, Moser? When are you up? Moser, when do they trot you out of the bullpen?
Friday night. Day two. I'm a day two.
See, Moser,
I thought you were day 3 or 4.
Though. You know why they gave Vic Thursday night? Because that's the easy night of the draft.
That's
He's
a
not
super
talented
easy night.
enough to carry.
Broncos are going to get a wide out or a tackle. Hi.
I mean, dude,
you know what Vic
it's
sounds
like low-hanging
on rounds
fruit,
2 and
dude.
3? Vic on rounds 2 and 3 will go, well, who cares? Who cares about this? I don't care.
Pretty much.
What is this offensive tackle from San Jose State really going to make an impact? Who cares? I don't know who it is.
Brett,
Yeah,
did they
gave
got
us
you
the
for
tough
Sunday,
job.
day 4? Are you day 4 Sunday?
There is no day 4. Home.
Actually,
I
I'm
know,
on
but
day
is it-
4 Sunday.
The big news from yesterday, obviously, Gronk coming out of retirement. Gronk being traded by the Patriots to the Bucs for a 4th-round pick. And I am pumped to see this happen. Do not get me wrong. I think it's going to be a ton of fun having both him and Tom Brady in a new place and seeing how this all works out. I have my questions on the production he's going to bring, but I'm psyched that it's going to happen. And I think that this was all kind of spurred forward by Tom Brady, knowing that Gronk lives in the Tampa area. He's already done a whole bunch of WWE stuff in the state of Florida. I mean, it's just something that seemed to fit really easily. And this was mentioned on Twitter multiple times. And it's the one I see is from Ross Tucker, that what this is really about is these guys being like, Belichick, I'm kind of done with your staff sergeant way of doing things here. Okay. We've put in enough work and we've been so successful in our careers. I would like to be an individual for once and not just another cog in your machine.
You know,
Well, I was thinking, Brett, hold on, Vic, one sec. I was thinking to myself, hey, what about, I mean, does Julian Edelman now feel like the left out little brother? I mean, is Edelman now going, golly, if Gronk can get traded, why can't I get traded to Tampa? I mean, does Edelman want to try to mix that up and be the slot guy down there? I don't know, but he's got to be feeling pretty poor. I would assume, but just very interesting to me.
If you're any successful coach, the great coaches of all time, think about the great coaches. there came a point where they wore their players thin. You know, there came a point where the players like, I'm done with this. I can't handle it anymore. Vince Lombardi, John Wooden, Nick Saban. Think about all the great ones of all time.
Even
exactly
Tom,
right.
Tom
exactly
Landry.
right.
Tom Landry.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a great one, if you are a fantastic coach over a long period of time, you wear your players out, and that's just part of the deal. This is not, this is not a knock on Hoodie. Everybody thinks, oh, you're ripping. No, I'm not. This is just human nature, dude. A lot of these dudes don't jive with that. A lot of these dudes are like, man, I've done enough to cut some corners here. Damn it. And that was Belichick's calling card, is that he treated all players equal. Remember that? He would call out Brady during meetings.
He still does. Still does.
The only one that I thought would have been an exception to that, because he seems so affable, is Pete Carroll. Like, Pete Carroll's this happy-go-lucky, hey, man, always got a smile on my face. Even he wore out his players, and he let that locker room run wild. I mean, the personalities that were in there. Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett, and even those guys were like, man, I'm getting kind of sick of it here. Remember, was it Earl Thomas or Cam Chancellor that broke his leg when he was in contract negotiations and he flipped off the sideline coming off?
That was Earl Thomas.
Yeah, that was Earl
Thomas.
Even those guys.
Well, no, he came back. He came back. Like, he was holding out, and he came back because they wouldn't pay him. Then he broke his leg in the first game back, and he's like, I'm out.
What they all have in common, too, those players and those coaches and those relationships, at the time when they're playing over the court, they get sick of it, right? They want out. But then years later, when they reminisce about the greatest coaches and the great experiences, what do they always say? Man, that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
No doubt about it.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Shanny was the same kind of way, but I'll tell you what, those guys will look back when Shanahan came back and all the way to the end. I bet you those guys, when they look back in the coming years, they're going to go, you know what, that was an awesome experience. They'll have a different perspective. I should have done this different as a player, so on and so forth. And that's just the way it is. I mean, if you think about it too, it can be an incredibly rewarding job, but it's also a tough job because you know that you have a shelf life. You know that eventually your team is going to get tired. I mean, Phil Jackson won 6 NBA championships for the Chicago Bulls, and Jerry Krause said, this is your last year no matter what. 82, and you're like, what the hell? I mean, what the hell do I have to do to be able to hang on to my job here? You see what I'm saying?
You know what's interesting? Have you guys seen Gronk lately? Like, did you watch the highlights of him at WrestleMania running around? Have you seen him, like, on Instagram? He still looks kind of skinny. And I mean skinny for Gronkowski standards, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like if we looked like him, we'd think we're Greek gods. But for Gronk standards, he still looks like he's kind of thinned out. I know he's going to bulk up again, but I wonder how much he can get back to that shape he was in when he was all football all the time. Make sense?
Yeah, putting on weight for guys like that, they just, listen, you know if he has a little help in the put on weight department? Come on.
What? Probably a little. Yeah, probably
a little helpy.
Oh, dude, protein shakes, peanut butter and jellies and weights, man. Dude can get bulked up.
Yeah, that's fine. Did you see the video that Tom Brady recently posted? It was a review. It was the one he had earlier where he hits that horn and all the birds come chiming and there's Gronk coming out of the forest as he calls upon his old help, his old talent. That one.
Brady's a lot better at Twitter than I thought he'd be. He's a lot better. I thought he'd be boring. He'd be one of those guys like TB12 store, clearance rack, 50% off. Here's this. No, he's good at it.
He's very good, in my opinion. He's a good follow. Somebody asked this question on the text line, and it's a no-brainer. If the Bucs and the Patriots, and the way the person formulated this question, would it be a national nightmare if the Bucs or Patriots met in the Super Bowl? Who would you take in that one? It's not even a question. It's a no-brainer.
Take the Buccaneers 1,000 times over.
60. The Bucs by 1,000. I mean,
1,000.
Really? Dude, it's not about the Patriots. What's it about, Moj? What's it about? Why are we all in on the Bucs over the Patriots? Why? Tell them the reason.
It's about Belichick.
God, even you're wrong.
Brett,
can you tell people why?
What are you talking about? It's about beating the Patriots down.
Why?
You want to see the dynasty fall.
But why? Who's at the heart of the dynasty? Who do you want to mute? Who do you want to shut up? Who?
Bill Belichick.
Patriot fans.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Damn right.
That's a given. That's a given, dude.
Yeah, you were asking 2 + 2 = 4. Why? And I was, what?
If you had to choose between the Bucks and the Patriots, are you kidding me? Like, this is a choice? Like, you have to come up with a winner there?
Brett, what are we doing, Brett? What I can do math. You can do math. What are we doing?
Well, Mose, you just turned a simple addition problem into freaking stats 3. So,
and here we go. Oh, he thought he was going to keep it holstered. I thought he was going to keep it holstered. He did.
He's going to break that eventually.
It's going to be great the day he does too. Watch on Twitch or Periscope or Facebook, and you can see it. AltitudeSportsRadio.com. Hit the homepage link. You can stream the video now. We're back after this. Still got a lot to get to this morning. 30933 is the Sean
Kisses
Bottom
of
Motor
love
text
for
line.
me will never
Didn't
die.
think
No.
that Moser
No.
singing was going to be a part of that, but
That would change if she ever found out
Turn
about
them
you.
off. Turn them off. Thank you. That for those of you watching on Twitch, new to the show, if Moser starts singing 80s songs, we just turn them off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, put your guitar down too. See, there was somebody who commented on this earlier, and it's so right.
Because it cuts like a knife, but it feels so
Don't bring him
right.
back on. Don't, Marty. I swear to God, I will make a
Yeah.
movement to get you fired if you bring him back on.
You've already tried that. It doesn't work.
Why do guys who play
Yeah.
guitars, and look, I play guitar. I don't do it the way that Moser does. I don't bring it in front of, throw it in people's face. But why is it that guitar guy who does that always has a guitar at the ready?
Because
could
they're
be at two
annoying. That's
supers,
why.
And it'll just be like, oh, let me reach in the back pocket. Here we go. I got one.
That's because Jim Irsay played earlier, and he was playing to his dog. And here's what Jim Irsay. Here's the problem, you guys that don't understand. We'll get to sound effects momentarily. Marty, do your thing.
No.
Here's how Jim Irsay sounds. You ready? I'm seriously. Yeah.
No.
Go, Marty. Yeah, go. He sounds like this.
Okay, yep. Now he's gone. Okay, good. Marty, sound effects, please.
The big sounds from the biggest stories in sports. Sound effects. Presented by Brooke Simpson. If you've been injured in an accident, contact Brooke Simpson, BURGSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
I don't put a ceiling on my game and what I can do, and I just don't see a limit on it. So I just want to take steps every day, learn, become more knowledgeable, and see it from a coach's perspective and go out there and try and play my best ball.
It's a loud voice there. That's a very familiar voice, but that was loud. Who is that? That's a football player, obviously.
That is a football player, yes. It's Jalen Hurts talking about his game.
Dude, I
I
like
still
Jalen
think-
Hurts. I like him.
He's one of these guys in the draft that he's not going to be a first rounder. He's going to be maybe a second rounder, maybe beyond that. Who knows? But he's somebody I think with a really high ceiling and a low risk. Like somebody's going to get a good opportunity to see if a quarterback can do something for him. by
Our
picking him
boy
later.
Leggy loves him. Our boy Leggy has him as
I
his
love
third best quarterback.
I love him too. If he had stayed at Alabama and won another national title, where would he go? I mean, I still think his talent is really, really good. I would
See, I actually
pass on him.
disagree, Moser. I think the best thing for him was going to Oklahoma because he just seemed like a piece in that Alabama machine. He wasn't getting the credit that Tua got when they were winning games. He goes to Oklahoma, and he is incredibly accurate. He is putting up a whole bunch of numbers, throwing a ton of touchdown passes. I just don't think that would have happened if he stayed there.
Perhaps, yeah.
We'll see if Clown comes back around or not. We don't know. We'll find out in time. Fortunately, it's been handled really well, as John said, and that so there's an ongoing to that, and we'll see where he is when he's ready to make a decision.
God, that's a familiar voice. Hold
I
on a
know.
second. Give me a second. Play it one more
Come
time.
on, you know the voice.
I know. Play it one more time.
We'll see if Clown comes back around or not. We don't know. We'll find out in time.
Oh, that's Pete Carroll.
Unfortunately,
That's Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Pete
I
Carroll.
don't think he has the gum in there, so maybe that's why you couldn't understand him.
Who was he talking
How is
about, though?
Jadeveon
Clowney.
Oh.
How is he not signed yet, by the way? What is going on with Jadeveon
No
Clowney?
idea. No idea. The again, the Seahawks said we got to kind of move on here. We don't know what's going on. I don't get it. He's just hanging out.
See, Jadeveon Clowney, for how good he is at rushing the passer, maybe part of the issue is they don't see him as an every down defensive end. Maybe they just think that he's just rushing the passer and that's it. So the price tag is too high for a guy who's situational. That's the only thing I can think of because there is zero reason for him to still be on the market. Zero.
The cool thing, Rich, that we shared with Jimmy, we forced ourselves. We're always into getting better. And so you look at everything, especially a situation like that. But within a day or two, Kyle and I looked at each other and said, you know what? We really like what we have in Jimmy. We love everything that he brings. And we really believe it's a long-term answer. And
All right, that's John Lynch on the Rich Eisen show saying that, they had discussions about getting Tom Brady to San Francisco, but quickly decided, nah, we're going to stick with Jimmy. My translation of that is It didn't work out.
Exactly right.
And we're going back to Jimmy G. Is that how you interpret that?
Absolutely,
Because you know
100%.
what? If you're comfortable with your quarterback, Vic, there's no discussion to have. If
Mm-hmm.
you think he's a long-term answer, there is zero discussion to talk about with anybody.
Exactly. The reaction, if you're married to Jimmy G, the reaction would have been, right? It would have been, yeah, you're not. Because otherwise you wouldn't have those discussions.
You know, he didn't have to offer that up, though. I mean, he didn't have to. He sort of just let that cat out of the bag. He just let the cat out, and he could have just stayed mum about it. But to me, I view it as, yeah, well, we couldn't afford him, we couldn't get him, and we love Jimmy G now.
Brett, how's your marriage? Well, I'll tell you this. I had discussions about marrying Margot Robbie. We decided against that late in the process, and now I'm going back to my wife. Yeah.
Correct. Bottom line, boys, over a minute and a half to play in the first half in the Super Bowl, and you don't go pedal to the metal with your quarterback because you don't believe in him, right? Doesn't that speak volumes?
Sure does.
Man, I've spoken with numerous teams from Las Vegas to Philadelphia, Denver. It's been a couple teams, just constantly.
Who is it that you've heard from constantly? Who have you heard from the most?
I say probably between Vegas, Denver, and San Francisco.
That's Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did you guys get Henry Ruggs right away? You couldn't get Pete Carroll.
Because I just knew the context of the story. I read that
Me
article
too.
earlier. I didn't hear
So
it.
did I.
But I know that he's in high demand for a lot of people at the top of the draft. And the reason for me is simple. First of all, he's really good. But second of all, everybody looks at the Chiefs and says, look at that Tyreek Hill guy. I want to get myself one of those.
Well, they just got Sammy Watkins. They just re-signed Sammy Watkins too, dude. They've got weapons all over the place. I mean, they got a boatload of weapons.
Teams look at Henry Ruggs like Tyreek Hill. That's the dynamic he could bring to my
He's
team.
even bigger than Tyreek. He's bigger than Tyreek Hill. I mean, by this much. Like, Hill's a smaller dude than him, but it's the same kind of dude. He's under 6. I think Ruggs is under 6 feet, is he not?
Dude, he ran a 4.27 40. And you ask anybody who does the scouting of these players, it's not one of these guys that's just like, okay, straight line speed, I can run this fast, but they don't play that fast, right? He plays to that speed, which is a different conversation entirely.
And you know what's interesting, too, when I hear all this talk about Chase Young, including from Lane Kiffin, Chase Young's a big dude, but they say he's even, like, he plays even bigger on the field. Like, apparently Chase Young he's going to go to Washington. Dude, they're saying that this guy is unbelievably good, beyond the charts.
Just to give you another sense of Ruggs and his speed, if I put Ruggs on a football field and he ran 100 yards, all right, and I put you on a bicycle, who would win that race to the end zone? 100 yards, bicycle Moj or Ruggs running?
Dude, this isn't a question.
That's a great question. Yeah,
no, it's
probably
not a
Ruggs.
great question. This isn't a question. You're saying Moser on a bike or Ruggs on his feet?
Yes, for 100 yards.
Does Moser get a head start? Does he get 20? Does he get 20 yards?
No.
Does he get the max speed?
I can't. The problem is I can't. Ruggs is at full speed after 2 strides. I couldn't get up to speed on a bike for probably 15, 20 yards.
I was afraid you'd say that. All right, let's go to the track now and make it a 400-yard sprint. 400 yards. You're on your bike. He's running. Who wins that race?
Probably Ruggs. I would die after like 200 yards on my bike. I'd park the bike. I'd pull out my can of Copenhagen, put a chew in, grab a Heine Light, and just sit there and watch him run by me. There's no doubt about it. Meanwhile, I was going
200 yards for the race. Opens a beer, throws in a chew, and smokes a cigarette.
Yeah, probably.
Moj, all I can think about is the short, long-haired guy from Breaking Away when he gets his run on the bike.
And Jack Haley, yeah. The moocher, mooch, yeah.
You know what's gonna happen? Moj is gonna turn into Seth Rogen and Bill Hader from Superbad, where they're chasing what's his face, Michael Cera, and he's hunched over. He's like,
that's a fastest line. It's awesome. What a great movie, by the way. Superbad. That was just on the other day, dude. When you go back to when McLovin gets his fake ID.
I'll watch the hell out of that movie. No matter where it is in the movie, if it's on, I'm watching it.
And McLovin shows up in the vest. He's like, I'm trying to look older. He's like, what the hell are you doing?
Seth Rogen's like, the movie Every part of that movie's is there a part? There's no weakness. The movie has no weakness.
The kid who plays McLovin is what's that kid's name? He's killer, man.
He's McLovin. I mean, that's what he is for the rest of his life.
Dude,
that
it's just
movie,
awesome.
Though, and you know what else I watched? Just as far as dumb comedies go, and it's like perfect dumb comedy. I watched Super Troopers again. Oh my god,
incredible! Absolutely incredible.
How about Road Trip? It's just a basic
Road Trip's
plot.
Great too.
Dude, you know what I think about all the time? Every time I hear the song on the radio is when they're they're banging their heads to Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. See,
I want to rock. I want to rock. Oh
Moser,
god.
you'd appreciate this. Just these two lines that aren't even that funny, but they still got me to like cry laughing from Super Troopers are both Farva. Remember when he gets caught by the other police station? They hit him with powdered sugar, and they're like, "Yeah, the lice hate the sugar." And he goes, "Is this powdered sugar?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It's delicious." It's just covered from head to toe.
Oh, dude, it's just
when he's drunk
such
at
a great
the gala. And the lady cop walks by and he just gets punched in the junk and he goes, "Lady in blue coming through." That stuff just murdered me.
I have an idea, and then we got to hit a break here. When we come back, I'm on this. I'm fascinated by this Twitch thing. I'm all over the Twitcher. I noticed that we have like a few viewers watching us. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's this show on Twitch called Anomaly that has 123,000 viewers, and I thought it was a television show. It's a video game that people are watching. 123,000 people watching other people play a video game, which, we've seen. So when we come back, Moj, I want you to tune in to Anomaly and some live play-by-play of Moj calling Anomaly.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because I tried to make sense of it. I'm like, what the hell is going on in this game?
Let's roll, baby.
You're doing it next.
Let's roll.
Reminder to you guys, tomorrow and Friday, starting at 6 o'clock through the last pick of both the first round on Thursday and the second and third rounds on Friday. Andy Lindahl is going to anchor the coverage for our NFL draft coverage. Everybody's going to be jumping in throughout the course of the couple of days, but it's brought to you by Modelo Especial, official beer of fans with the fighting spirit. Also, Jeff Legwold will join the shows throughout the night. Thanks to Templeton Rye, just awarded double gold at the 2020 San Francisco Spirits competition. Legwold, obviously, he's got your draft Bible. He's got the top 100 that he does every single year, and he's going to be giving us his reaction all throughout the nights on Thursday and Friday. Be sure to stay tuned for that. Now, Vic, you had an idea, and that idea was having Moser do play-by-play of a video game. Now, you said the game Anomaly. That's not a game. That's a person who is streaming. He is playing the game Valorant.
Oh, my God. What the hell's the difference? Anomaly, Valorant, hee-haw.
I don't
Call
know.
it whatever you want.
But, Mose, you have this pulled up on your page?
I do.
Okay. So go
Every
ahead.
game's the same, by the way. Every game is the same. It involves guns, walking around some area, trying to collect points and flares and trains. It's all the same.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So, Mose, in
dude just blew. That's okay. Dude, it's so violent, man.
Okay, you know what would be better? At the bottom of your page, do you see G2 perks? Do you see that on the left-hand side?
No.
Okay, never mind. We'll just stay with Anomaly then. Just give us the play-by-play.
It is
what
violent.
You see.
Is there a better game that is not as violent as this?
That's what I was trying to find. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here's a game called Dead by Daylight.
That sounds pretty good. Let's do that one.
Yeah, Jesus Lord. Dead by. Why are these people into games that it's all about killing and vampires?
Yeah, I mean, every
and
game
guns.
is with a gun. Every game has a gun and you're shooting. I mean, I don't. I'll be honest. That's where we have a disconnect, people. I'm totally disconnected from that.
I don't get it. Violence. We love violence.
I don't get the fascination in this. Switching up guns and going crazy. Why? What are you doing?
It's like paintball.
Yeah, dude. I mean, all these dudes are doing is like, it's like the devil's coming out of the ground and dude's going into night vision and he's just blowing dudes' heads off all the time. Like that's all he's doing is just smoking fools with pistols and automatic weapons and whatnot. What I don't know, man.
Okay,
and you get these dudes into a real firefight, they would turn and run.
Of course, Moser. It's not real. Like, were you under the impression that these guys who play like Call of Duty were like, if you drop me into Iraq right now, I am murking fools?
Hey,
like, is that what you
Valorant,
thought?
come over here and say that to my face.
All right. Okay. Let me explain something real quick. So, you guys, I've talked about my buddy Linwood Raybon a bunch of times, right? He, a former Army Rangers special ops guy and whatnot. One time I was at his house and I read his action reports from missions that he did in Iraq and Afghanistan and all this kind of stuff. And he was, by the way, instrumental. His unit, and he led the way in the rescue of Jessica Lynch. Remember Jessica Lynch, Vic, and all that stuff? Yeah. Anyway, my point is this, is that, man, it's some heavy duty stuff, right? Like heavy duty major firefights, all different kinds of things, and it's mind-bogglingly scary. But I bet there are some dudes who are playing that, like dudes throwing a grenade and he's walking around like some 15-year-old in Wichita. And I'm thinking to myself, I bet some of these dudes think, oh yeah, I could do it, man. I could. Oh yeah, man. You drop me
I
in,
wish
man.
somebody would step up to me. I wish.
You drop me in, man. I'll smoke those fools, because he's running around with his Valorant thing doing its whatever.
Okay.
Well,
So
anyway,
I'm
this
curious.
is.
What does he think about it? You've talked to him. What does he think about the video game era and all this fascination?
You know what, Vic? I'd never have talked to him about it, to be honest with you. I'd never asked him about
I'd be
it.
curious. I'd be
Yeah,
curious.
I will. I'll ask him.
Well, regardless, if we aren't getting the play-by-play, I would like to move to something else.
That sounds good. Hey, I got something for you, Brett, that you never let me get on.
Okay, then get on it.
Well, let me get on it. Well, I was thinking this morning about your teams that are perennial losers, right? Like your Detroit Lions. And I'm thinking to myself, they've gone through GMs. They've gone through coaches. They've gone through players. I mean, Barry Sanders retired at the age of 30. They've done all this stuff.
So did
and who's Megatron? Who are they? Who's in charge of that team?
Bob Quinn.
No, I mean, who owns the team?
Oh, Martha Ford.
Okay, and how old's that old lady?
95.
She's
I don't know,
95. Okay, so is the old lady really making day-to-day decisions? Really? Is the old lady making the decisions?
From what I believe, yeah. I mean, she hires the GM and then she lets the GM do the work. But
right, correct. But she's not like Jerry Jones, right?
No.
So the old lady's in her office, right, or wherever she is, going, "We've got to change the culture of this team." And maybe she does. So how far down do you tear it down to the timbers? Like, I mean, do you say, listen, it's got to be done? Even people who have no say in football decisions, do you just clean like the entire house? Like Gladys has been a secretary here at the Lions for 42 years.
They did that.
And you're like, hey, Gladys, you're a wonderful woman. You do your job expertly. I'm sorry, Gladys, you're gone. I mean, what do you do? How do you miss time after time after time after time? I can't wrap my head around that.
Listen. 3 years ago, when they hired Bob Quinn as their GM, and a year before he hired Matt Patricia, she took over for the team after William Clay Ford Sr. died, right? So she inherited the team.
He was right, correct.
The first thing
how old is she?
Like 94, 95.
Yeah.
How old is Moser? Is she on Tinder?
Come on, man.
The first thing she did.
I can't. Kelly, what's up?
She fired. She fired Jim Caldwell. And Moser, listen. I was in Michigan at this time on a sports talk radio show in Michigan talking about this. She fired everybody down to the janitors. She fired the janitors when she overhauled the team. And guess what? They still stink.
So that's my point. Are they cursed? Could it be some sort of curse that they're dealing with the Lions? Because you cannot continue to miss year after, even after you've torn it down to the very timbers. The sheetrock is gone. The flooring is gone. You've taken the nails out of the timber and put new nails in. How do you continue to lose?
There's no replacing the owner, Moser.
But
there's no replacing.
But Brett,
that.
She spends all the money. She hires all the people. She's doing everything theoretically correctly, is she not? What is she doing wrong? What is old lady Ford doing wrong?
It's Martha.
Martha.
The simple answer is this, dude, and this is what the Broncos are kind of facing right now that they've had to hire a new GM since Pat Bowlen kind of passed and the trust took over. But there's one person that runs the team. It's the GM. The GM is hired by the owner and nobody else. Whoever is making that decision, if they're poor at it, then your team will be poor. Unless they get lucky.
We'll get somebody good.
I'm reading Twitter right now and an exchange that's taking place in front of me, and I find this fascinating. Nikki Javala tweeted last night because Super Bowl 50 was being replayed. She tweeted, "Damn, the Broncos' Super Bowl 50 defense was stacked." Right? Just a very generic, obvious comment. Doesn't hurt anybody. Derek Wolfe, formerly of the Broncos, now of the Baltimore Ravens, responded on Twitter to Nikki by saying, "But we could have stayed on the bus. Vaughn did it by himself, right?"
Now,
I don't want to make too much of this. I don't want to make too much.
Here we go.
But what's going on there? Is there something deeper happening there? Is there like some?
It sounds like he's mad that he didn't get credit for what he did.
But mad at the Broncos, mad at Vaughn. What's going on? What's going on?
It sounds like he's a little bitter. Like when Manning said, "Oh yeah, but the defense carried us," right? I mean, it sounds like, a little bitterness going on there, a little ego check.
People want
credit. Derek Wolfe has been somebody that people have loved throughout his career here. But would you agree with this, that most people saw Derek Wolfe as expendable to that defense? Like he leaves this offseason and nobody's really upset about it, right?
The Broncos certainly did.
But
the Broncos certainly did.
I get it.
Yeah, Broncos did.
Interesting. 30933 is the Sean Automotive text line. Stick around. Vic, I know you saw this video.
Hey, can I hold on one second?
I'd say.
I can't, Brett, I'm sorry, because I'll lose my train of thought. It has to do with you. It's about you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about your dog, Josie, right?
Yes, Josie's the tiny one.
Okay, you were playing with Josie during the break, and she's a super cute dog, dude. Don't get me wrong. That dog is adorable. I mean, really a cute dog. And Vic's got a couple of white dogs. In fact, one of Vic's dogs looks like your dog, sort of.
Okay.
The problem with little white dogs is this.
They bark a lot. They don't stop barking. Bark all freaking day.
No, that's your dog. Mine's silent. Never barks.
Would you remove its larynx?
Nope. Just a good girl.
Home larynx surgery. The problem is that white dogs, their eyes leak. And then it goes onto the fur right below their eyes, and it turns their fur like maroon or brown or what. And that is,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with white dogs, dude, is that when their eyes leak, it turns their under eye brown or maroon, whatever color it turns. It's a weird color. And so I feel bad for the dog, and it's hard for me to look at a white dog's face because it's gross.
It's fine.
I mean, is that not fair? Is that unfair?
No, it's fine. I mean, I
Vic,
think you're overreacting. It's not like a disease. It's just something that happens.
Vic, do your dogs have dirty faces?
I would never lick their faces like you lick your dog's face. I would never do that.
I'm not asking you whether or not you'd lick your dog. I'm asking you if your dog has a dirty face.
Some would argue the dog's face is cleaner than mine, but I don't know how to assess what a dirty dog face is. So I guess.
All right.
Okay. Well, can I please get to this story that I wanted to
Dude, I've been stuck at home for 41 days with a dog, man.
I know, Moshe. It's okay. It's okay. Here's what I wanted to ask Vic, because I know you saw this video. And I never thought I'd say this sentence.
Let me call my dog down here.
What is up with that giant baby on TikTok?
Dude,
You've seen that giant baby.
That's freaky, dude. Freak City.
I'm going to retweet this from the @BrettKane radio account, and you're just going to look at this giant baby, and you're going to just what's going on here. I mean, that thing is it's like a sumo wrestler, but it's got athletic ability. It's hopping around on its dad's back. That kid looks like he's 4 years old, and it's like dude, 6 months.
No, it's almost like an adult with a condition. I saw that, dude. That
baby's what, 70 pounds? I mean, Jesus.
Dude, I don't understand how a baby can be 3 foot tall. Like that baby's like 3'1".
I'd be the second largest person in my family right now.
It's a very long, very agile, very athletic baby. I'm trying to imagine.
Was a big baby. My brother was 10 pounds, 13 ounces. Okay. So that was
dude,
a giant Michelin man baby.
Dude, there have been babies. No, dude, there have been babies born like 18 pounds. Like giving birth to a Thanksgiving turkey. I'm dead serious. There have been babies who have been gigantic, bro. It's just that this baby is athletic. This baby's got a look in its eye. This baby has a vibe that terrifies people.
It's rising up draft boards.
Right. Right now, Nick Saban is recruiting this baby.
Boys, can I make a couple public service announcements before we bid farewell on the show?
Please.
Number one, this is required viewing for anyone who has not seen this game or perhaps wants to relive this game. Tonight at 9:30 on MLB Network, one of the greatest sporting events I've ever witnessed will be rebroadcast. It is the Rockies-Padres game 163, the play-in game 2007, the one that would never end, the one that we thought had ended several times, the one that resulted in one of the greatest, most legendary plays at home plate. That game is on tonight, 9:30, Rockies-Padres. Must watch. Now, if I keep my eyes open to the extent of it, because you figure if it starts at 9:30, do they, in most of these rebroadcasts, do they shorten them up? Please tell me they shorten them up.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have to watch that game again. I have to watch it. It was in terms of games played in Denver, Colorado, right? Not Super Bowl. Super Bowls don't count. Games played in Denver, Colorado. Game 7, Stanley Cup. You win a cup, that's a huge day, huge game on your home turf. All right? That's clearly got to be number one. It's got to be number one because you won the cup in Denver. All right? It's number one. Number 2 for me will always be game 163. Number 3 is the 1977 AFC Championship game. And the reason it's only number 3 is, again, it was a championship game, but it was too long ago. I don't have the same feels about that game. It was just, I was too young.
43 years ago is too long ago.
For me, I didn't, for someone who maybe it was my age back then, it's a different feel. But that game 163, wow.
It was awesome. You saw there on the highlights too. I mean, we all know Holiday did not touch the plate and that the umpire missed the call, perhaps assumed that he did. If they had replay, then obviously Holiday would be out. But it was still unreal. The excitement, the joy in this town, that game at Coors Field, the entire city was absolutely electric. It was stunning, Brett. I mean, it really was. It was an awesome feeling. And Matt Holiday, nobody forgets this, but, dude, he was a great player. I mean, really, really good player for this club.
I remember being with what year was this again? The game 163?
2007.
2007, October.
Okay, so I remember being with a whole bunch of my teammates. We were watching that game together and losing our minds because everybody felt like at that time they were a Rockies fan. Like everybody I knew wanted the Rockies to win because of that run they were going on. And the way that game finished, it was one of the most exciting baseball games of my life that I can remember.
Oh, it's on at 11:30 this morning as well. I'm sorry. I said 9:30 tonight. It's also on at 11:30 this morning after the show. Oh, my. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
You're watching that.
The other thing I want to announce, a quick public service announcement. Yesterday, I had the honor of doing a video that is going to be seen Friday night. It's a concert fundraiser for National Jewish Health, the hospital there off of Colfax and Colorado. You know the hospital. It is the #1 respiratory hospital in the country. They are at the cutting edge of all respiratory issues, health issues this country's seen. So naturally, they'd be at the forefront of attacking the coronavirus. Well, you're going to see a fundraiser where they're going to unveil some new things they got going. You're going to be excited for this, Moj. The National Jewish Health announced yesterday they have an antibody test that anyone can go get. And they have it set up in the parking lot over there. Costs $94. Fill out a form, go to the drive-through, take the antibody that will let you know whether or not you've had the virus go through your body. It detects the coronavirus. So they have the most rapid testing going as it is. And now they have their own antibody test that they're promoting that you can do to me, this is cutting edge stuff. Again, not many hospitals are doing this. And I was wowed by it yesterday.
That's awesome. So keep that in mind. And also remember for what we got coming up here, we got our draft coverage Thursday and Friday, starting at 6:00 with Andy steering those broadcasts. A lot of us are going to be jumping on throughout the couple of days, though. It is brought to you by Modelo Especial, official beer of the fans with the fighting spirit. And Jeff Legwold's going to be joining us throughout those 2 days. That's brought to you by Templeton Rye, just awarded double gold at the 2020 San Francisco Spirits Competition. And if you guys can get in on the action as well, all you have to do all Thursday and Friday, send out the hashtag ISelect925, and you'll have a chance to win a Visa gift card, $50, plus you can win double your money depending on where you get selected. That's hashtag ISelect925. It's our own Altitude Sports Radio draft. Keep that in mind for Thursday and Friday.
All right, real quick as we go, Brett, I don't know if we have any fact checker today. The 2888, love you, Moj, but that call would not have been turned over. The catcher dropped the ball, never tagged him. That's because Holiday was pushed to the back, and the catcher picked the ball up and went to Holiday, but right then the umpire called safe. Okay, before the catcher, he would have been out. But that's neither here nor there. It's game 163. It's flipping awesome. Check it out.
Guess what tomorrow is, boys? Tomorrow, round 1, NFL draft. We'll give you the preview. We'll give you our takes on what we got coming up, plus our virtual draft. Finally, we unveil the Broncos pick in our virtual mock draft. All of that coming your way tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. 6 a.m. starting with me.
No fact checker, right? No fact checker.
No fact checker. Clean show today. Clean show.
Thank you, Twitch. Love me some Twitch. I'm all twitchy.
Jump on it, guys. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 is where you can find all of this stuff. We're back tomorrow. Harris, Hastings, and Dover. Modelo is special.